Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you guys think, Abemus Papam? What do you guys think? Hello. Is there any significance to his choice, Leo? Well, at this point, I'm gonna read it as it's supposed to be read. Leo Quartus Decimus. Leo Quartus Decimus. Yeah, it took me a second because I was switching to ecclesiastical because usually I do classical. But in this case, you gotta use ecclesiastical. Let's be honest, right? Let's be honest about that. Quartus Decimus. I'm not sure why you chose that one, to be honest. I'm sure they let us know. But yeah, it's a leon. It's a lion, basically. But yeah, Leo. First pope in history to mispronounce aluminium, says Mac. Man, you're brutal. That's a good one. Yeah, let me tell you this much. Noble ones. Let me reduce a little bit the music here. Let me tell you this much. I was hoping for pizza balla. I was hoping for cardinal pizza. Because think about it. The word in Italian for Pope is Papa. P-A-P-A. Papa. So if Cardinal Pizza became the Pope, and then we could have started a petition for him to choose as a papal name John, like John Paul II, right? That way we would have had Papa John's Pizza. It would have been great. Papa John's Pizza. Oh well. So what do you guys think though? Jokes aside, how you guys doing? Hey Nicholas, so good to have you here today, my man. Checked out your videos yesterday a little bit. I watched a video of yours where you were playing Gladius, Warhammer 40k. Pretty good game. I'll have to stream it one of these days. Absolutely, Nicholas. No worries, no worries. When am I playing Oblivion again, says Black Knight. Oblivion, I'll play it at night. Black Knight. Might as well say it. Yeah, at night. One of these nights. Whenever I go live, one of these nights, we'll play a bit more of Oblivion. Usually, if I go live at night, it's going to be on my Twitch. And it's going to be around 11:30 p.m. That's usually when I go live. So, yeah. And when I say 11:30 p.m., I mean always Central Standard Time, because that's where I am. I'm in Central, so that's why I use that one, and then you can adapt it to wherever you are and see if you're still awake. Maybe just have a look. Good stuff, good stuff. Is your War series? No, I thought it was pretty good. But anyways, I'll check your Warhammer series then. I know that one is the one you're proud of. Is the Pope American? Yeah, American and Peruvian, right? It's like American, but from Peru originally, I think, the family, if I'm not wrong. Man, we got a new Pope before GTA 6. What are they doing? Seriously. The Conclave was faster than Bethesda. That tells you all you need to know. And also, let's remember, as Eduardo correctly points out here, Carthago delenda est. Let's not forget that. Not forget where we come from, our origins. It usually takes a few days. Sometimes it takes months. Historically, it has taken years. 3 years, I think, is the longest. Man, outside, the weather is crazy today. He's American, his mother was Peruvian. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Appreciate that. Let's go for... Let's see. There you go. Yeah. You know what's funny? So I made the video about the Pope, the one I just posted today, and I spoke a little bit about the history, about the conclave, what it means, how it works, how he's elected, why he's choosing a new name, what's the significance of the white cassock, so the white robe. I don't know if some of you have watched it already. I literally posted it a couple of hours ago. And it's funny because that video... Oh gosh, they're cutting the grass outside. Sorry for the noise. Ooh. Goodness gracious, I'm gonna have to reduce the... Let me reduce the microphone, but I'll get a little closer. Does that work? Can you still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me, because outside they're cutting the grass. You can't hear the noise. Yeah, because I reduced the decibel, but let me see. Alright, so Let me know if you can hear noise outside. If you can, then I'll reduce the decibels for the gain of the mic, if needed. Yeah, remove the music for now. It's fine. We don't need the music. Maybe we need that like a tiny little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Tiny little bit. There you go. Cool. No noise. We're right now. No noise. You're right. Good. Great. Good to see you, Vane. Pride. So as I was saying, I posted that video because I filmed it this morning. Like literally, that's not like a video. You may think that I'm a very well organized guy and I had that video ready so that the moment the Pope will be chosen, I will post it. No, sir, that's not me. I'm a mess. So I decided this morning, you know what, I should film a video. So I just filmed it this very morning. The dogs are going nuts. So I filmed it this very morning, edited it as fast as possible, made a thumbnail, posted it. That's what I did. So, yeah. I think you spell it with 2 S's. But yeah. Cassock. Yeah, that's it. That's the word. Exactly. Channel for Comedy says if there was going to be a live today. Yeah. I'm just a little late, but yeah. So that's why I posted that video very fast. In fact, at the very end of the video, around minute 9, you can tell that I literally forgot to... because usually and regularly when I do my edits, then I have time to rewatch the whole thing to make sure that there aren't mistakes, kind of a quality control, and then I push render. But today it was time sensitive, so I did it, but kind of skipping around a little bit, so I didn't notice that I had forgotten to cut out some mistakes when I had to do double takes, which of course happens all the time. So they're still in there, but I'm like, you know what, minute 9, average watch time for a video like this, I expect it to be a little on the lower side, so... I don't think majority of people will get to that place, but some people did already told me in the comments, like, Metatron, I don't know what happened here. I'm like, oh, I know what happened. I edited too fast. That's what happened. But at the end of the day, you know, the only thing that really bothers me when it comes to a video is not really editing mistakes like this. It's mostly if I say something wrong. Then I'm like, oh, I need to go and cut it out, because you can posthumously. But right now the video is doing really well because it was number 1 on Google Trends. So that's why I'm like, oh, I need to make a video about it. So I don't want to touch it. So I'm just going to leave the mistakes for now. It's not a big deal. And then, yeah, exactly. I'm not a robot. Thank you. And so maybe later on, maybe after 3-4 days, it's got a lot of views. Maybe I will like edit it out. But right now I can't do it because I don't want to mess with it. The video's doing too well. And Winter Suns, good to see you. Cutting the grass is a core American culture. Absolutely, I guess. But yeah. Appreciate that, Ettore Senatore. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining the stream, by the way. How are we doing? Let me see. So we got some people watching. Okay, good stuff. How are you guys doing, by the way? Having a good day? Buonasera, Red Cosmonaut. Good to have you here. I still think that because of this, it would be very thematically appropriate to play a game of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 as the humans. What are they called? Can never remember the name of the freaking factions, but you know who I'm talking about. That could be, and then we need to try and speed the zealots, rush the zealots. Will Metatron become a political streamer? Probably not, but I will comment on things when asked. So I don't have a problem with commenting on anything, really. Maybe a reaction to the new Mafia game set in Sicily. I already have it, the Atheist Vitalist, but thank you for the support. I have a reaction to that on my gaming channel. Metatron's Protectorate. It's there. We can have a look later, though. The Archangels are good, but I like the Dragons more. I see Clint. Well, for me, I think the Angels are probably my favorite unit in Heroes 3, but I have to say that Heroes 3 has got some really good dragons. I always like the fact that each faction has its own color. Like you go, not only that, but like for instance, there are factions that they have the red dragon, but then it becomes a black dragon, or the faction that has a green dragon that turns to a gold dragon when you upgrade them. I thought it was really cool. I just never understood why the what is it called? A Dracolich, the undead dragon. I don't know why it's so weak, to be honest. Never understood that. Jeremiah asks me, Metatron, favorite political streamer, Destiny, Hassan, Asmongold, or someone else? Oh, goodness gracious. So I used to watch Destiny, stopped after he made some public statements on the firefighter. I'm like, okay, this guy's a piece of garbage then. And I stopped watching him. I never liked Hassan. Asmongold, is he a political streamer? To me, still a gamer who talks about politics, I'll be honest. I like some of his takes. He does have takes when I go based. And then he does takes sometimes a sentence after that, and I'm like, maybe not. So that's how it is. I did see, though, that he just recently posted a video about Oblivion, so we might watch it together and react, and there we go. We can see if it's one of those cases in which I'm going to say based, or if it's one of those cases in which I'm going to say, no, man, no, you know. I'm just being transparent with you. But yeah. I wouldn't consider Shad a political commentator either, I'll be honest. I know that he does pop culture, and I understand it's very politically driven, but it's still not for me at least, a political commentator is someone who understands and studies politics. Not that you have to have necessarily a degree in political science, but definitely someone that's their primary focus and that's what they do. That to me is a political commentator. A gamer that talks about politics is a gamer that talks about politics. So if at any point, whenever I do talk about politics, very rarely on the live streams, I never do it on videos, but when it does happen on live streams occasionally, it's not like now Metatron is a political commentator. No, I'm just a guy sharing opinions, and basically that's what it is. That's what it is, but that's where we're at right now. Can't think of any other one, but if you want to ask me opinions on other people and commentators, feel free. Feel free. Kind Tequila, thank you for the support. Ralph, love your videos. Have you played Baldur's Gate 3? Yes, we've been streaming it. We've been streaming it on Twitch, and I like it a lot. Usually I play High Elves. Before the stream, I actually started a new game, and I created a drow, and it's looking good. It's looking good. Yeah, Nightwatch, of course. It's the politically oriented channel, not Shadiversity. Usually Shad... Goodness gracious, man, now it's thunders. Usually Shadiversity doesn't have political takes. Am I right-wing, asks Lord Geoffrey. I always consider myself to be a moderate. What I mean by that is that, yes, on some areas I would definitely lean conservative, and on others I lean more on the liberal side, I guess. So it depends on the situation. Like on some economical aspects, from an American perspective, like I like the idea of universal healthcare, for example, which in the US is a left-wing position. But then I'm very traditionalist and very Christian, so that in the US is a very right-wing position. So that's why I'm saying I like to consider myself moderate, even though online by my haters I'm called far-right, and occasionally I'm called woke. I'm neither. So that's how I would describe myself, if you will. But yeah. Yeah, that's what I do, Andy. I avoid putting myself in a box. Now, would I describe myself as a centrist? Not necessarily, because, as I say, on some issues, I'm a far center. Yeah, I'm an extremist in the No, I'm just saying on some issues, I will agree with conservatives, like 100%. So I guess on those issues, I'm closer to a conservative. But there will be other situations in which I'll be like, a liberal will tell me things, and I'm like, you know what, I think like you on these. So it really depends. It's a situation. One of those radical centrism. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much to hear that. But yeah. Anyways, what can I say? What opinions do you have that make you right-wing, says Francisco Funari? As I say, tradition. I like about conserving tradition. I don't think that all change is progress. All progress is change, but not all change is progress. So that's why I'm very cautious as to what we consider to be innovative in our society. So when it comes to those ideas, the traditional family values, family core, strength in the military, these ideas, yeah. But then again, I'm very pro-freedom. So some people are like, is he a libertarian? Probably not, because I've heard libertarians say stuff that I'm like, you're out of your mind. But when it comes to like the idea of freedom of speech and that kind of stuff, yeah, and I think often I hear right-wingers speak a lot about freedom of speech, so I would agree on that. I guess those would be the right-wing ideas, I guess. But then there are some right-wingers, in my opinion, that push it to a point where they become toxic. And of course, you have toxicity on the other side. I experience a lot of that. Usually, I'm attacked more by the left, by the way. I have been attacked by the right. People did call me woke, and I think they're idiots when they do that. But generally speaking, it's like a 60-40. 40% of far right attack me, 60% of far left attack me. So that's what happens. I'm a free thinker. I like to say that. Yeah, logical free thinker is a good way to put it. Yeah, I'm an ambidextrous alt-woke conservative. Yeah, a liberal conservative. I don't know, guys. I haven't got a clue. That's it. So I'm the guy that you can sit down, have a coffee, discuss ideas, and on some things I'll agree, on some things I'll disagree. But it is thundering there outside. So I wonder, does God disagree with with the Pope election? Yeah. So yeah, like when I see someone like, what's his name? Yeah, Alec Gunter, for instance, the people that call everyone Nazi and fascist, they piss me off. I don't know what to tell you. They just piss me off. Pissing me off. Because it's true, people do call me woke for the stupidest reasons ever. I will tell them, look, there is historical evidence that there was this warrior, and was a woman, and she had a scale armor, and they're like, oh, you're woke, and I'm like, you're an idiot. But then woke, I kind of frown upon it. I'm like, yeah, okay, bye. But when someone calls me racist, Nazi, fascist, that's it's more intense. So that's why. But then again, I know that some of you are left wingers, and some of you are right wingers, some of you are left wingers. As long as you are a decent person, I don't have a problem with your personal politics, mate. I appreciate that, and we will definitely find areas of overlap. It just pisses me off where they use that kind of ad hominem attack. It just pisses me off. What can I say? I would prefer the Asian Pope, said Cottarino. What about you guys? What Pope would you have wanted? Let's talk about the Pope. Let's stop with boring politics and let's talk about the Pope. The Pope. Life is beautiful. I agree, my friend. I agree. Let's go. Choose your Pope, guys, right now. Papa John Pizza, they say on Twitch. They like pizza, man, pizza balla. I wish pizza, but I don't know nothing. I don't know anything, not double negative, come on. I don't know anything about Pizza Balla's policies and stances. I don't care. He has got pizza on the name. He's got pizza. Yeah. Thank you for becoming a member, OG Kaz. Really appreciate it. I would prefer you as a Pope. Man, the only long-haired Pope. Can you hear that? Man, it's noisy. Goodness gracious, they had to cut the grass. Thank you, JV, for supporting the stream. I've heard the phrase, don't remove the fence if you don't understand its purpose. Sure. Sure. And when people say fence, sometimes they also say like, what was I going to say? That, yeah, they do call me a fence sitter, but I'm not, because if you ask me, do you believe in the traditional family? I'll say, yes, that's not fence sitting. Fence sitting would be like, oh, I don't know, there's pros and cons, good ideas on both sides. No, I'm going to tell you what I think. But then again, so that's why I say. One thing that's interesting though, so you know, the other day, I was on Twitter, I was scrolling down, looking at the posts, and I saw a post that was saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson had said that white people are closer to monkeys than any other race. That's what he said. And at first that rubbed me wrong, because you know me, I hate all forms of racism, including anti-white sentiment, and it pissed me off. But then I stopped. I was about to comment. And you know, when I comment on this stuff, I can be very strong. But then I paused and I'm like, wait, is this real though? So I watched the entire interview. And after watching the interview, I don't think he was doing that. So that's what I mean when people were saying kind of have a logical position based on evidence. That's what I do. I try not to get enraged before seeing the evidence, because if he did say that with vitriol and anti-white sentiment, ooh, you would have seen a post tomorrow, and I would have defended, because that's me. That's me. It pisses me off when people do that. But I checked it, and in reality, what he was saying, and I actually appreciated what he said, on the interview, he was saying, here is our certain connections between monkeys and some races in the human species, so we should say some people in the human race. He said they were made by racist people, but he didn't point the finger and say, white people bad. He didn't do that. So I'll give him respect for that. He said what happened is that in the whatever the heck 1800s, 1900s, there was this, imagine like even during when the Nazis were in power and whatnot, he said there was this person, and this person happened to be white, and this person put himself as an anthropologist at the top, and then he put black people at the bottom, and then he created this pseudo science to justify it. But he said the exact opposite could have happened. And he said if you had a black person who was racist against white people, and already the fact that he acknowledged that, because there will be people that will tell you that's impossible, which is semantics and it's stupid. He said that, so I appreciate it. And then he created like a upside down hypothesis just to show you that it's silly to use reasons as to why you try to kind of use derogatory language towards people that don't look like you. So I actually appreciated it, which means the post that I had found was false, but it was working to enrage me if I had believed it. Because, as I tell you, and then again, I do get called far right because I say we shouldn't be racist to white people, but I also say let's not racist to black people. But for some reason, that post goes through the ears of the people, the extremes, I would say, the extremists in the left, on the left, the split second that they hear me say anything, but like, context is important, exactly, Francisco. That the split second that I say, guys, it's wrong to judge people by the color of their skin, and I say it in an environment that includes white people, or they go nuts. Or they go, Metatron far right. Well, okay, you can say it doesn't make it true. I don't care at that point. Deus vult. But anyways, that was just to say that's what I do. So I try to look at it and that kind of stuff. Neil is a scammer and a liar, says Jasper Owens. Well, look, is he? I don't know, because when he speaks about astronomy, I think he's an excellent communicator. When he goes outside his field of expertise, he has made statements that I frowned upon. And in his positions on religion, he says he's agnostic. Fine, it's his choice. I don't have a problem with that. So that's how it is. That's how my position is when it comes to, is he? So again, if I watch a video where he's about astronomy, I'll enjoy the content, and that's it. But if it's outside of astronomy, I'll be like, no, man, I'm not interested. That's how it is. Exactly, JL. Thank you for sharing that. Selective editing. You can argue any position if you selectively choose the evidence that you present. Yeah, true. Totally. And then it becomes a matter of bias, for sure. We need a Nova Roma on Mars. Man, I don't know what to tell you. I think if Elon Musk has any say in it, the first city, the first colony on Mars is going to be called X. But I do think that Nova Roma is a much better name. Murray says supporting Shad is extreme. You're wrong. But then again, what do you mean by supporting? Because if you mean supporting every single one of his positions, well, he's strongly conservative. But I don't know if he's an extreme. I don't watch his night watch content, but I never gave me an idea of being extreme. I think he's very, very solidly right wing. But maybe there are some positions that if you show me, I would be like, yeah, that's a bit too extreme for me. Maybe. Because one thing is like he calls everything woke. Not everything, but he definitely calls more things than I would. He calls them woke, so I agree with that. But I do support him as a good friend. If you have a problem with that, feel free to unsubscribe, by the way, because I'm never going to apologize for that. He's been a very good friend of mine during a time of need. He was the only one in the community of the sword that came to my help when my wife was downstairs crying because my entire channel was demonetized. No one said anything except for him. That's a lot more valuable for me when it comes to deciding the decency of a person over political ideas that we can always discuss and he might change his mind. But the core of Shad is good, and I will always defend that. So that's that. I know that some of you don't like him, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to like him. I'm just saying he's always been a good friend to me, and I would feel evil to just stabbing in the back. Why? Because a portion of my audience doesn't like him, it's whatever. The portion, I respect the portion of my audience that doesn't like him or his takes, and that's it. That's it. My music taste, asks Joseph Price. What can I tell you? Metal, heavy metal. I'm a metal guy. Epic metal. I also like classical music occasionally, depending on what the occasion is. To repeat the same word. To repeat the same word. Hey, Baron. Oh, Raf, if you wanted to get into a topic of religion and politics, I've got a video for you. Oh gosh, probably not. I'm okay mentioning it on passing, but I don't want to have an entire stream dedicated on politics and religion. Goodness gracious. So yeah, there is that. Let's see. Yeah, the new Mafia Old Country games seems really interesting. I do hope that they put some actual Sicilian in there. Like that we hear people speak Sicilian, not just an accent when they speak Italian. When they speak English. Like it's fine if it's in English, but it would be nice if you're like walking around and they actually speak Sicilian. That would be really nice. Of course, I'll play it immediately. When it comes out, immediately. How was the new Pope's Latin? I'm not sure actually, Rebecca. I'll have to hear him. He speaks Italian, right? Because I think that's a requirement. You have to speak Italian to be the Pope, I believe. I mean, I don't know if it's a written requirement, but generally speaking, they live in Italy. Not in Italy. And now you're going to say it's the Vatican. It's not Italy. Great. They still speak Italian in there. So, yeah. Let Musk cook, but don't let him name anything anymore. I agree, Thomas. Yeah, I think the technology is fascinating, the Neuralink, and yeah, I mean, sure. Maybe not the names, though. A city of Mars should be called Ares. Ares or Ares. That would be cool. Yeah, honestly. Man, that's good. It's a good idea. That is a very good idea. What about the cardinals? Should they all know Italian? I guess if it's a cardinal who doesn't live in Italy, maybe no. Maybe they don't need to. But then again, I mean, Italian is fundamental. Imagine if then you get elected as Pope, I guess. What are you going to do? A 3 months crash course in Italian? Yeah, I'm sure they do. He speaks Latin, Italian, Spanish, and of course English, being American. That's cool. I can respect that. I still speak more languages than him, but I do respect that. Yeah. Are you currently training HEMA? Not anymore, Zumbi, because one, the closest HEMA club is kind of far. Two, I don't have the time. Too much production, too many projects, too many things to do. Do you think he speaks Portuguese too? I wonder. Why would he speak Portuguese? Well, maybe he just likes it. His pronunciation sounded good, but I also don't speak it. So we'll see if we can check it today. I'll check it for you. We'll have a look. It's possible that they learn Italian organically, channel. That's a good point. Metatron, what's your opinion on constructivism? I don't know what that is, so I don't have an opinion on it. It's a cool name, though. Do I have kids? Not yet. Eventually. I can ask for a beer in 5 languages. That's priorities, DJ. Metatron for Pope. Come on, guys. That's what Diogo is saying. Let's see. M. Super says, I hope he's a far-right conservative. That woke nonsense must stop. Well, I mean, for a pope to be conservative, I think is fitting, but I wouldn't want him to be far-right conservative. Regardless, I think this one is moderate. I think it's a centrist pope, the way I understood it, but I might be wrong because I don't know. You know. What language are you learning at the moment? I'm still working on Mandarin. Once I finish Mandarin, I might start either a Nordic language because I'm fascinated, or Portuguese. Those are going to be the next. They do say it's moderate, right? Trembling, that's what I heard. We'll see. We'll see how it moves. Ozare says, nah, he's center-left, but center-left from an American perspective or center-left from a European perspective, because those are not the same. Nin says the new pope is based. Well, we'll see. Let's see the sort of policies and statements that he makes, and I think we can judge him by the fruits, right? We could do that. Yeah, the Nordic languages are part of the Germanic family. You mean from an American perspective? I see. We'll see. We will see. Epsilon Sama says that he's anti-LGBT. Well, that doesn't sound necessarily moderate, but then again, it depends what you mean. Because, you see, I think people get triggered very easily and place labels. So, if a pope says that, for instance, the Catholic Church is not going to do... what was I going to say? The Catholic Church is not going to do gay marriage. That would be a very traditionalist, conservative pope. But then again, if the pope says, for instance, some horrible things, like I've heard some, I think it was some Southern Baptists saying some really stuff that if I say it about LGBT, I would probably get completely demonetized right now. That then would be like, that's what I would call anti-LGBT, like when they go into the violent aspect of it. So it depends. It depends how you look at it. That's why I'm saying, let's see. Yeah, not that. Okay, I get it. So let's see what they say. Let's see what sort of statements they make. Also, let's keep in mind that the Pope, apart from being a religious leader, he's also a monarch. He is a monarch. So he's a political leader. Therefore, he has a facade. And we did see that so what they say doesn't always represent what they think. And we did see that with Pope Francis, when outwardly he seemed to be very tolerant towards, for instance, LGBT, in the sense that he was saying things such, not that he was changing the doctrine about it, but I'm saying that he was saying, one thing is sin, one thing is sinner, and we shouldn't hate the sinner, we should only hate the sin. So he was having that kind of moderate talk, but then behind closed door, he said the F word. He was like, there is too much F word ending with Guthrie in the church. So I'm like, okay, so there is a you know what I mean. So do remember that he is a politician as well as a religious leader. Therefore, it's not always the case that we know their policies. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh, I had a laugh because he said it in Italian, and the word he used in Italian was very vulgar. So that's why I was like, he said what? He said what? So there is that. But anyways, let's see how it goes. I want to say, let's see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Just judging by his actions. How about that? Thank you, Riva, for supporting the stream. Very much appreciated. Hi, Metatron. I'm a history student, and your videos have what inspired me to pursue my degree. Wonderful. That's why the channel exists. So I'm glad. I'm very happy to hear that, my friend. Very nice. Saint Marco says, what responsibilities the Pope has? I'm Orthodox Christian, so I guess he has similar role to a patriarch, but I'm not sure. Well, I don't know much about Orthodoxy, to be honest. But yes, the Pope. So while the Pope is dead, the entire Catholic machine, including diplomacy, is halted almost to nothing. Literally a whisper of it. Because without a Pope, you cannot issue bulls, you cannot make public statements, you cannot create policy. The cardinals cannot do that. Only the Pope can do it. Now, does the Pope have to be chosen from the cardinals? Technically, no, but it's always the case. So in theory, you could be any Catholic man, I think, who has been a bishop could become technically the Pope. But the reality is, it's been so long that now it's an unwritten tradition. It's always chosen between the highest cardinals. It's not written, though, just in law, in church law and canon, regardless. So yeah, that's one of the things he does. And then, of course, he's the leader of 1.4 billion Catholics. That's a lot. There's a lot of Catholics. Are they all Catholics, or am I adding other Christians? No, it's 1.4 billion Christians. How many of those are Catholics? Sometimes I forget. If you know the numbers, let me know, because I don't want to misinform. Regardless, yeah, but he's also the leader of the country, because it's its own state. So there's a lot that the Pope does. A lot. Do regular Catholics care about the Pope's politics? Depends what you mean by regular Catholics. Like, if you mean still Catholics that are very active in the church and go to mass, and then I would imagine so, yes. If you're talking regular Catholics, meaning people that are Catholics but they don't necessarily go to church, but they're Catholic because of a family thing, then you will hear a lot of that type of Catholic criticize Pope. So if they don't like the Pope, they'll say it. So there are some popes that are like, Holy Father. I don't personally use that term because I think Holy Father is only God. But it's some people that very, very, very fervent Catholics will be like, his word is law. But not all Catholics are like that. And I'm telling you about Italian Catholics, so very close to the Vatican. But I've heard a lot of Italian Catholics saying, I hate this Pope. So not this one, but I'm saying it has happened. It has happened with Francesco. Some like him, some don't. So yeah, I guess that's also because of the policies and political positionings. I would imagine it's also that. So what do you think of his language skill? I still don't know anything about his language skills, Jeff, but I was told by chat that he knows like 4 languages, so I respect that. Same as the Patriarch, I see, very cool. There we go. So you see, Epsilon Sana says, I'm a Catholic and I wasn't a fan of Francis. So that does happen. So when that happens, then you're still a Catholic, you still believe in the doctrine, but maybe you're thinking that the Pope, because at the end of the day, the Pope stopped being infallible. It used to be infallible as a doctrine. I don't think they ever were, but I'm saying if you look at medieval popes, then yeah, they claimed infallibility. So anything they do is perfect. They can't make a mistake, particularly when it comes to church doctrine, not when it comes to, I got a fork instead of a spoon to eat my soup. No, they never claimed they could make that kind of mistake. But when it comes to papal infallibility, historically should be understood as the fact that the Pope claims that due to the fact that he's the vicar of Christ, from a Catholic perspective, he cannot make mistakes, which means if he declares a crusade, you do it. If he says this is a sin, it's a sin, and you can't have a different opinion. Of course, that didn't work that well because Protestantism, but I'm just saying that's not the case anymore. It's not doctrine. And so yeah, due to the fact that it's not doctrine anymore, then modern day Catholics, if they really dislike the Pope, they can dislike the Pope. They can be like, yeah, he thinks that, I think he's wrong, and they can do that. They can do that. Yeah. When do you think you reach 1 million? I would describe you as an arch realist. Yeah, sure. How do you see yourself? I like that. I'm a truth supremacist. That's how I see myself. And I made a truth-centric channel. How about that? So Jerry, when will I reach 1 million? It depends on the speed of the growth of the channel. One thing that I noticed, and I don't know why, is that up to 4 weeks ago, so a month ago, the channel had a growth of 10,000 subscribers a month, which meant that in 2 months we would have hit 1 million. However, the growth has gone down monstrously, and it doesn't look like it actually happened organically. I'm not trying to create a conspiracy theory here, but it does look like the algorithm has shifted something, because now the growth is barely 2,000 a month, which is why you will notice that now on every live stream, including this one, and on any video of mine, I will always put a call to action. Guys, please subscribe, because I noticed that 40% of the people watching tend not to be subscribed, and I think some of those have been unsubscribed without them knowing. In fact, if you think you are subscribed to the channel, double check. You might have been unsubscribed. I've seen a lot of people telling me that. So I hope that this works. I hope that the strategy of adding call to actions within the average watch time of my videos consistently on every upload, including the live streams, will help me counterbalance and counterattack this slowdown, which to me is very forced. It feels artificial. Yeah. Andy says people don't choose their sexual preference. I agree with that. Yeah, sure. If you're straight, you're straight. If you're gay, you're gay. That's how I think. Now, yeah, I'll leave it at that, but I might talk about it a bit more in a little bit. You deserve it. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Biakuya. You just checked today, still subscribed? I'm glad to hear. But let me know, guys. Let me know in chat. So yeah, I need to start. I usually don't like bothering you with call to actions, but they do work. At least I hope that it will in this case, because it really went down on a spiral. The views are still generally the same, but for some reasons the number of subscribers went down monumentally, which means either for whatever reason the views are the same, but people subscribe at a tenth, almost 2/10 of what they used to, or a lot of people are being unsubscribed, and that all puts together I think that's what's happening. You watch almost every day. Thanks so much, Nicholas. I really appreciate your support. You guys are great. Covering controversial topics will get you off the algorithm, will make people make them unsubscribe. People are very easily offended. Well, fine. I mean, but then again, it's not like I just started. I've been tackling controversial stuff for a long time. And believe it or not, sometimes a controversial topic, it's true that some people may get offended, but if the people that agree with that take, whether it be controversial or not, are the ones who are getting recommended the video, which has happened, then that can in fact trigger an explosion in subscription. This happened to me, I think 2 years ago, when at one point in 1 month, I had a growth of 75,000 subscribers in 1 month. And when that happened, it was due to a controversial video. So controversial is a little bit of a risky tactic, but for me, I do mitigate the risk because I try not to be hateful, regardless of whatever take I take, whatever take I choose, and then I try to present evidence and base it on that. And so to me, that mitigates. Of course, there will still be people offended, but at that point, my friend, do I really care? Right? If I'm not being hateful, I'm not being horrible, I'm just sharing an opinion, I base it on evidence and fact. If that is enough to offend people, do I really care about those people? And it's a loud minority anyways, the ones that I'm so offended. Because I do see people in the comments that say like, hey, Metatron, I really love your work, man. I don't always agree with you, but I like what you do. Or like, I disagree with this topic, but I love your video. So there are a lot of people that are adults about it and can take a difference of opinion. Not to mention, yeah, just like be you, exactly. I appreciate that. Yeah, exactly, OG. You say, yeah, who cares? The truth hurts. Yeah, to some people, I guess. Sure. Your most offensive videos are your best videos. Thank you, developer. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I've always decided, you know what, the whole algorithm, it's important. It's not like I'm going to pretend it's not. But up to a certain point. There are things that I think it's just, sometimes, you know, what I don't want to be is a milk toast creator. Have you ever heard that expression? A milk toast take is the most basic take that takes no courage, no stance, because it's the take that the majority of people will agree with. Okay? So if I tell you, for example, I don't know, I'm just going to try and think of a take like that, but imagine if you have like a horrible person at work, like your manager, and then this manager is mistreating another person in an obvious horrible way. If I make a video about that, then I say it's wrong to treat people badly. This manager is horrible. Everyone is going to agree. Great. Wow. What courage. No, it's those stances that you know that it depends and people will get angry that I take. So, yeah, there are milquetoast creators that keep it and also try to read the audience and like, what does the audience want me to say? And then they pander. I don't do that. Yeah. Metatron, join the politics debate scene to claim your territory. Maybe at one point. Pups are cute. It's a great milquetoast. Exactly. Like, oh, someone is being cruel to puppies. Who's going to disagree with that? But yeah, there are creators that do it. Milquetoast. Yeah. Reading the audience to pander is lame. Yeah, you should just say what you think. Bacon is good, though. Bacon is great. You know? Milquetoast, yeah. I really enjoy your channel. Thank you so much, David Lopez. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, not even the Austrian painted hated dogs. I mean, that tells you something. And the Austrian painted fan club. Yeah, it's another thing that pisses me off that I can't say, oh, that person unalived themselves. I hate those. I hate it. You have no idea. And sometimes I have to do it on the title. I have to swap an A for a 4. I have to swap an I for a 1. And I have to do it Because if I don't, the video gets a yellow dollar sign. And a video, as I showed on my latest live stream, a video with a yellow dollar sign. I understand it's not a red dollar sign, so you might be like, well, red dollar is demonetized. Yellow dollar is just minimum ads coverage, right? So it's not that big of a deal. It is a big of a deal because a video with 1 million views can generate over $4,000 on average. On average, it depends on your RPM, but let's say around $4,000 if you have a green dollar, but that is reduced to $100 if you have a yellow dollar sign on average. So yeah, I'll swap the one with the eye. And I tried it, guys. I tried it because I tried putting a regular title, yellow dollar sign. Oh my gosh. And then I have to re-upload it and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll swap it, the A for the 4. So they're all happy. And what can I say? But I do see sometimes in the comments, people are like, they do get offended by that. And are like, it's so stupid that you're doing this. And I'm like, hate the game, not the player, mate. What am I going to do? I still have to pay mortgage and take care of my wife. Am I going to put the A so that this random person that hates me anyways is not going to get as offended? And what am I going to... No. I'm going to put the 4. I'm going to put the freaking 4. But I hate it. I can say that I do share the feeling that I hate it. Yeah. So it's one of those things. 1 second, it's my dad. I want to answer, and I'll be right back with the stream. But just so he doesn't get worried, you know. 1 moment. Pronto?
Ehi là, Raffaello, ciao.
Ciao, come va?
Insomma, così. Hai
Sì.
sentito il nuovo Papa che è americano?
Il Papa americano, papà, sì.
È una cosa incredibile, impensabile.
Sì.
Ma
Ascolta, papà.
vediamo che tipo è.
Sì, vediamo. No, ti volevo dire, in questo momento sono in onda, quindi ti ho risposto giusto però magari parliamo del Papa domani. I told him we'll speak tomorrow. Va bene, dai, buona serata.
Ciao Gioia.
Ciao. I didn't mute on purpose because I knew he was going to tell me about the Pope. The split second. Did you guys understand him? He was like, hey, did you hear about the new Pope? He's American. That's incredible. That's what my dad said. Oh my gosh. He's funny. Beautiful language. Thank you so much, Dream. I appreciate that. How's your dad doing? Thank you, Baron, for asking. He's okay. He's doing well. Sometimes a little lonely, so we tend to speak every day. The only days in which I ask him not to call is when it's like a batch filming day, because maybe I'm filming 4 or 5 videos in a row. Then I tell him, hey, you know, today I might not do it. But I try to speak to my dad daily as much as possible, yeah. Which animal is more important to human development, dogs or horses? I'm going to say dogs because my dogs are my stress relief. And thanks to the stress relief, I'm more productive. Was that Sicilian? No, my dad is from the north. So we never speak Sicilian. He wouldn't understand me. No, my dad is from Friuli, Udine, so northeast. Il Papa Americano is how we say it in Italian, but yeah. Yeah. You think horses? Yeah, he's from Friuli, yeah. My mum was Sicilian. Your dad's a diamond. Good son. Thank you, Autumn. Yeah, he's good. He's a good man. How much could you understand, by the way? The American Pope. Yeah. Pontifex Maximus Americanum. You know what's fun, Cottarino? Is that you just got to hear a real, sincere reaction from an Italian towards the idea that the Pope is American. He was like, wow, it's incredible. And that's important. That's why I also wanted to leave it with the microphone on, because I think up to a certain extent, whenever someone turns on a camera, you have to think, how am I going to say it? It's public. The internet is forever. So that's why I wanted you to hear like an authentic, something without any filter whatsoever, just how people think within, you know, their privacy. And just to share it, so, because I know there is going to be a lot of videos and a lot of takes, and even my video was strategic, right? I was talking about the history, talk about this, talk about that, explain this, that, the cardinals, but don't pass judgment, don't offend this, don't offend that. And so I like to kind of give you a little bit of that. Made me smile. Yeah, I know. It was fun. It was fun. Hunting is easier with dogs, says Legato. That's a good point. Yeah. Is that near Venice? Yes. So you have the region of Veneto, where Venice is, and then on top of that you have Friuli, which is just it's further north than Venice. But yeah, do I speak Furlan dialect? No, I just know a few words like Mandi. Mandi is their way to say ciao in the Furlan. It's not even a dialect; it's a language. Well, you could say that about a lot of Italian regional languages, but Furlan they even have double signs, like double language signs, a bit like in Wales. So yeah. Patrick, thank you for supporting the stream. What resource would recommend for learning Italian? It's my favorite European language aside from German. There are a lot of I would use like there are plenty of channels with Italians that can teach you how to speak Italian. To be honest, so yeah, like I never had to learn Italian from a book, so I can't think of a single book to suggest if that's what you were asking. Let me show you on the map, by the way. Let's open a little bit map of Italy. Let's do a bit of geography today. Regions. And there we go. See if I can open it a little bigger. I accept the freaking cookies. Since we're talking about Italy, you shouldn't give me cookies. You should give me pizza. But yeah, boom. All right. So these are the regions. So I'm from, of course, Sicilia, specifically up here, northwest, Palermo. That's where I'm from. My dad is from Friuli Venezia Giulia, this little red one that you can see on the top. So it's kind of further northeast from Veneto, which is where Venezia is. Roma is in Lazio, so this one here in the very middle. Rome is in the center, we could say, sort of. Then Naples is underneath in Campania region. That's where Napoli is. Then you got Sardinia, which as you can see is kind of as big as Sicily, sort of. Different shape, but they're very similar. Just to give you an idea in perspective, to drive from this point in Sicily all the way to the other side, it takes about 3 hours, 3.5 hours, just to give you an idea. And then, yeah, Toscana is north of Lazio, and this is where Florence is. Right, Tuscany, that's Toscana. And then what else can I tell you about it? Puglia is where I served in the Navy. That's where I was moved. I was moved from Sicily to Puglia to serve in the Navy when I was 18 for conscription. And yeah, this is Liguria, which is where Genova is. Right, Genoese crossbowmen, for instance, that's where they were from. As you can see, there's a lot of coastline, which makes sense that they were a naval power. And of course, so is Venice, and then Veneto also has this entire section here. And clearly Sicily, down here, it's the Mediterranean Sea, obviously. And then, yeah, I think that kind of gives you an idea of a little bit of Italian geography, if you will. So yeah, Ezio Auditore was from this region, Toscana. But I think in Assassin's Creed 2, you also go to Veneto, which is where Venice is, which is really one of a kind. Guelfi e Ghibellini. That's how we say it. Guelph and Ghibellines. Yeah, Guelfi e Ghibellini. In Italian, that's how we say it. So, yeah. We need a Sicilian pope. Man, can you imagine that? It would be cool to have a Sicilian pope. A pope that speaks, John. Why did you do this to me? We need a pope that speaks like that. Yeah. Have I ever been to San Marino? No. No, never. Milan is Lombardy, yeah. Exactly, very northern. Let me see if I can show you very quickly. Wait. So, 1 second. Speaking about Italia today. Isn't that nice? So let me see if I can show you this very quickly. Okay. Yeah. So here it is. It's another interesting map. So you can see Florence with a star here. Rome and Naples kind of on the same side. Oh, I disappeared, did I? Where did I disappear? Haha, I'm back. And then Milan is very northern, basically at the same height as Venice. It's just that Venice is in Veneto and Milano is in Lombardia, but it's very, very northern. In fact, last time I went to Switzerland, which as you can see, it's just here past the Alps, we drove all the way from Sicily, all the way through all of Italy. Then we went to Milan, had a little pit stop, and then from Milan, we drove to Switzerland. It's very simple to drive from Milan to Switzerland. It's not that much. Maybe, I don't know, another, how many hours? It depends on traffic, though. Milan has really bad traffic. It took 33 hours to drive from Sicily to Switzerland. Total. Buster says, my mother was from Cinisi and my dad was from Carini in Sicily. I've been to both, of course. My cousins live in Cinisi. So I'm very, very familiar with the town of Cinisi. When it comes to Carini, I've only been maybe a couple of times. Will the new Pope reform the Holy Roman Empire? Goodness gracious. Catania ancestor here, says Retro. Rob, Catania is such a beautiful town, by the way. There is a massive rivalry. Is it rivalry or rivalry? I don't even know. Anyways, there is a massive one of those between Palermo, my city, and Catania. It's really big. But I've always liked the... I mostly say it as a joke. There are people that mean it, though. They hate each other. And when there's the football, and if there's anything that has to do with football and whatnot. But I don't. And I always found Catania to be a gorgeous city. Rivalry. Thank you. The second one. Yeah, there's a big rivalry between the two towns. I've never been to Villa Gizzi, no. Where is it, Talis? I have been to, there is one villa in, it's a Roman villa in Sicily that is absolutely gorgeous. And whenever I have like friends that are foreign, that's when I used to live in Sicily, I would always take them. It's called Piazza Armerina. And yeah, if you want to see Roman mosaic, and Piazza Armerina is phenomenal. Let me see. There you go. You might actually be familiar because have you ever seen those these? So like the can't speak today. The mosaic that show Roman women and they look like they're wearing bikini. This is in Piazza Armerina. That's where they are from. So if you've ever seen this in a video, it's from Sicily, right? And but Piazza Armerina, it's a gorgeous little town in Sicily, but they have this Roman villa that, as you can see, it's got columns and a lot of mosaic. They have mosaic with gladiators, so you actually see how the Romans represented gladiatorial combat, and it's a gorgeous little town. So if you're into ancient Rome and you're gonna visit Sicily, I would strongly suggest you to check Piazza Armerina. But if you're visiting Sicily and you're like, yeah, but I'm more into medieval stuff, and you know what you need to see still in Sicily? Erice. Erice is a Sicilian town on top of a mountain. I took my wife there. She loved it. And it's so medieval, it's insane. Like they still have the castle intact, as you can see. But the streets are the most beautiful thing about this town, because it really feels like you're going, it's really high in the mountain, by the way, and it really feels like that you're still walking around with all the rye. It looks like you're inside the Elder Scrolls. So like you can see all the ivy growing on the walls. Everything is stone, old school with arches. It's I'm so proud of Erice as a town. Like, look at this. As a Sicilian town, lots of churches, even the gates look like you're walking inside D&D. Kakamoto, you're correct. Yeah, they have a wonderful castle. I'll show that in a second. It's just there is something about Erice that I've always loved. I mean, look at this. And no one is gonna pickpocket you in Erice, to be honest. No, the crime is very low. You're more likely to be pickpocketed in a main city's central station than you are in a little town like this. And yeah, that's Erice. You know what I did once? I wore plate armor and I walked around it. I did it. I have it. I have a video. I can show you. I have video proof. Is Palermo safe? Depending on the area. Again, if you're in the central station, I would be careful. And then if you're in a good area, you're totally fine. If you go into the wrong area, then it might not be safe. So I would be careful. But it's the same thing. If you go to Naples, you have to be very careful when you are in the central station, for instance, in that area, unfortunately. Anyways, let me show you this. So I made a video once, which was Metatron. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I found it. So, and this, one of my best thumbnails, by the way. This one here, can you be stealth in armor? I was discussing D&D. And I put plate armor, and I walked around Erice. It's, let me see if I can show you just a little, maybe do I show it in the beginning? There we go. Found it. Let's go. Metatron reacting to Metatron. That's me. That's me walking in Erice. You can sell it 3 years ago with the length of hair. Yeah, let me see if there is more. Let me see if there should be more footage. Then we went to a little forest. Let me see if I show more. I need to film more next time I go to Erice. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, there we go. There's a little more here, but I think it's kind of the same. Maybe. Right, look at this. Can you imagine, like, walking around? Yeah, I don't need to hear it. But it's like, yeah, this is a church, by the way, in Erice. And yeah, it was fun. People were lovely. You should have seen the kids. You should have seen the children. They wanted to take a picture and whatnot. I'll do it again, maybe next time we visit. Then, since I'm giving you all of that, the next thing is that if you're ever gonna visit Sicily, but you're more into Greek stuff, then you should go to Selinunte. That's where you should go. Let's see. You still have the ruins from almost 3,000 years ago, still intact. Greek temples, Greek battlements on the sea. They're still there. You can even see the economic quarters of the town. It was a fortified sea town and seaport that the ancient Greeks built. You can see where it is. Basically, if you're in Palermo, you can just drive sort of kind of south this way, and then you get to Selinunte. Yeah, and it's another beauty. Gorgeous ruins. Yeah. I did film in Roman. I did wear Roman armor around Selinunte, by the way. Of course I did. Of course I did. But yeah. Anyways. Medieval fair in the USA in full Gothic armor. That would be cool. I don't have a full Gothic plate though. But that'd be nice to have it. You know, if I could have another plate armor, I would go for Maximilian at this point. Thank you, Dinner Manser. I appreciate that you like the set. It's Northern Italian style. Can the new Pope declare a new crusade? I think we're past that, Walter. To be honest. I wish I could play D&D with you. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I used to DM a lot back in the day. These days, my wife plays D&D with a group. They come here to play, and I just go downstairs, say hi, offer coffee, but I don't really play because I can't stick to a schedule, because I have too much. And usually when you're doing a campaign, if you play every week or every 2 weeks, that's a schedule, and I can't commit to it. So all I do is one-shots, and then just maybe a board game night. I'll do that. Yeah, walk around Roman Carthaginian armor. Yeah, maybe not, but I could do the opposite. I could walk around Tunisia in Roman gear. How about that? With a bag of salt. The salt thing never happened, by the way. That's a myth. They never salted it. Be funny to bring it though. Yeah. You DM for a group online dinner. That's pretty cool. I'm guessing there is a ferry from Sicily to mainland Italy. Yes, we call them traghetti. It's a pretty big boat because it fits trains in it. So basically the train, you're like in a train, and then the train goes through Sicily, and then the train enters the inside of these boats. Multiple trains enter the boat, usually like 4 or 6 trains, plus it's filled with cars as well, and then passengers that just walk. And once the boat is full, then it basically takes you to Calabria, southern Italy, basically the toe, and then the train resumes, because the inside of the boat is like a railway. That's how it works. It's good fun. Yeah, everyone talks about building that bridge, and no one is ever gonna do it. We don't even believe it anymore. They've been saying it since I wasn't even on the planet. Thank you. Hey, Craig, good to see you here. Walk around in Boba Fett armor. If you're going to be someone, be Boba Fett. Who's Boba Fett? I don't know who Boba Fett is. Did I play Memoir 44? No, I never did. Oh, wait. Yes, it's the war game. I did. I have it. It's over there. I played it with my dad a little bit. It's fun. Oh, Star Wars. Sorry, I missed the reference. Yes, I've been to Segesta multiple times. Maybe 5 times. That's another Greek temple in Sicily that is really gorgeous. Best bounty hunter. Oh, I see. The bounty hunter from Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. I didn't remember the name, to be honest. Bet a lot of salt. Oh, yeah. Favorite board games. One of my favorite is the Dune board game. That's really good. And then, I mean, the Game of Thrones is pretty nice. Kind of depends on what we are feeling like. Nemesis is a good game, good board game as well. Yeah. Metatron, come and visit the coast of Croatia. There is a lot of Roman architecture. I believe it, man. Croatia, Romania, there is quite a bit of Roman architecture in there, for sure. I do have a friend from Tirana, I think. I haven't spoken to him in a very long time, though. We used to share a flat in England. I think, if I'm not wrong, Croatian is the language, but a person is a Croat, or am I wrong? In English, I mean. So I was going to say he's a Croat rather than a Croatian. I could be wrong, though. Carcassonne is my favorite board game. Carcassonne is fun. It's a little simple, but it's fun, yeah. Correct? Okay, good. If you go to Croatia, you should go to Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik. Sounds cool. Love it. Love the sound of it. Very Slavic sounding. Oh, Hero Quest. Yeah, I forgot about that one. I was thinking of buying the new print. What do you guys think of that? Because they redistributed it. They remade it. Because 2 games that I don't have anymore, but I used to have as a kid, are indeed Hero Quest and Battle Masters. And those are the ones that I would love to have. But then I noticed I was looking into eBay, but it's kind of overpriced. Or sometimes when it's cheap, it's because it's incomplete. And so I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to spend that much money. But then I saw that they remade Hero Quest not too long ago, maybe a couple of years. Yep, Abemus Papam. So we'll see. Hero Quest was pretty good. It was. I think we used to play Gideon a lot of Hero Quest when I was a child. The only reason why we stopped is because we started playing D&D. That's what happened, basically. Because we liked Hero Quest a lot. It was a really good game for the time. You say get it, says Andrew. What do you think about Civ 6? Let me tell you what I think about Civ 6. 1 second. Library, Steam. Where is the S? For Sid Meier's. I'm telling you right now. There we go. Sid Meier, Civilization 6. I have... 1 moment. 716 hours. That's how many hours I put on Civ 6. Is that enough of an answer? 716 hours, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yeah, I like I like Civilization. I've only pot 38 hours into Civ 7 as of yet. So we'll have to see. Did you see that Europa 5th has been announced? No, I didn't. Sounds good. They've done tons of expansions for Hero Quest. Yeah, I heard so. They added like new classes, character classes, and then monsters, right? I played Civ 5 when I was a university student, very long time ago. I remember you could become the Pope, since we are talking about the Pope. That's the only civilization that allows you to become the Pope. Am I right? I remember that. It was so fun. You know why I remember it? Because I was playing against my university classmates one day. I guess, because, you know why? Since it's a turn-based game, and if you play multiplayer, it was local with LAN, people, they were still kind of learning the game, so they would take forever, and so I would study. Then when it's my turn, I'll do my moves, and then I'll get back to studying, preparing exams, I guess. So anyways, it was funny, because we were playing, and at one point, you had the elections for the Pope. So I was one of the candidates. I'm like, I want to become the Pope. But the AI basically did a coalition, because we had AI players and friends, real players. The AI did a coalition and they voted someone else. So what I did is that I began a war of extermination, and I completely removed the entirety of the civilization, everyone. I erased all of their cities, burned them to the ground, eliminated everyone that was breathing, because, they elected him as the Pope. Then we did another election, and the entirety of the AI voted for me. It was so funny. I bullied the AI, which, I mean, is not too different to how some things were in the Middle Ages anyways, but it was so funny. We both laughed, like me and my friends, when that happened. The AI, everyone voting for me to be, yeah, Your Holiness. It was so funny. We laughed our heads off. It was great. Yesterday, I was playing Civ 2, by the way, on PlayStation 1. I was playing it yesterday. Yeah, I started a game with the Greeks, with Alexander. Yeah, don't make Metatron Pope. No, actually make Metatron Pope, because if you don't... Goodness gracious. Thoughts on the new Pope? So I don't know yet, because I don't know his policies. I don't know anything about him. I don't know how it... But anyways, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to see what he says. I'll judge him by his... I'll judge his actions by his fruits. Let's put it this way. So let's see what he says. Let's see what he does. And then I'll probably will share my opinions, because I already have. I've made a video where I said I disagree with the Pope when it comes to Pope Francis. I disagreed with a couple of things he said. I made 2 videos on Pope Francis. So I'm not shy. If he says something and I'm like, oh, this Pope is based, I'll make a video, the Pope is based. That's what I'm going to say. But if he says something, I'm like, I don't know where you're going with this, man, because I base it a lot on, So yeah, that's how it's going to be. How well do you see through that helmet behind you? I mean, not great, but not too bad, because there you go. It's not actually too bad. Maybe I could give you an idea. Let me see. What if I do this? All right, 1 second. Let's see if that gives you kind of an idea. Maybe. So it's not great, but it's not too bad. And it's definitely preferable over an arrow through my teeth. So there's that. You're finally a knight, yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad. Also because it's gonna correctly align if it's made for you well. And then, you can see. It's just, and also you can also see through the holes that are used for breathing. You can still see a little bit. So I think but believe it or not, I actually see better with my frog mouth, because the frog mouth does not impede my peripheral vision. So with the frog mouth, I see really well. My peripheral vision is the same as when I don't wear anything. However, this area is completely blocked with the frog mouth. So I have no idea what's happening. I can't see my feet unless I do this. Then I can see. That's why I can kind of move a bit like a bird. With this one, the peripheral vision is not as good as the frog mouth, but I do see a little more. So there are like pros and cons, I suppose. You're never going to see great. But remember, you can lift the visor. So that's always something you can do. And people did do it in combat, by the way. Any popes who led their armies in the Alexander the Great sense? No, not that I know. You should try the frog mouth mounted on a horse. Yeah, I would love to do that at one point. I remember when I first moved to America, I actually looked for some ranches to see if we could try that. Although then again, I would be... that's the problem though. If you need a medieval saddle, because it's very different. A medieval saddle and let me see if I can show you the difference, because I don't think everyone appreciates. So let me see. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, that is actually a very good example. So I'm going to show you now. And then horseback riding. Thank you, Halcyon, for supporting the stream. Rome absorbed the Carthage state. No need to salt. Yeah, pretty much. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Okay, so here's the main difference. One of the main differences. When someone is riding a horse with a modern saddle in the modern style, if you notice, it's kind of like they're sitting, right? It's kind of like, so you're sitting here, and then there you go. You got your things here. I don't remember what they're called. It looks a bit like someone is sitting, right? Can we agree on that? When you look at a medieval saddle and a knight, it looks like they're standing. So the horse is a fighting platform, and it really is different. So the way if you dress in plate armor but sit on the horse this way, it's not going to be the same, because everything is studied when it comes to like lance and charges and all that to the correct saddle and placement. So yeah, it's almost as if you're studying. Like, look how straight this guy is. Look how straight this guy is compared to this. Can you sit in armor? Absolutely, yes, totally. Yeah, you can sit, no problem, in armor. You're just going to make noise. You're very noisy. The horse is a man extender, pretty much. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I could go to like a modern ranch, but with a modern saddle, it's going to look weird if you know how it's actually supposed to look. And that's one of the things. Yeah, look how... Oh, damn it. Okay, never mind. Maybe not. Not secure, they say. But anyways, you see how straight this guy is. And that's a knight. So knights were straight. Well, I imagine most of them, if we consider statistics, I would say yes. But yeah, that was just to share the idea of... And that's that. So let's close that non-secure site, I guess. We don't want to deal with that, do we? It's a very straight night. Yeah, I know. Very straight that night. No, never done a video on Peltast. No. When you do an image search for a frogmouth helmet, your video on helmets is the third result for me. It's good to know. Good to know. I'm glad to hear. Antiquity had no... Yeah, even the... That's one thing when you're saying antiquity had no saddles and much more badass. Yeah, the thing with antiquity that really strikes me the most is the lack of stirrups. And that's in fact one thing that they always get wrong in ancient Roman movies. They have stirrups. They should not have stirrups. But the reason why they have stirrups and why I stopped complaining about it, it's a security reason that has to do with the insurance of the actors. I don't know if you knew that. That's why they always have them. Like, they have to have them. But if it were me, I would make them green so you can remove them with the like a green screen, because it looks so bad. Particularly if you know that they're not supposed to exist, then that's the thing. So that's what I would do. I would make them green and then remove them. Or you can make them blue if there is a field of grass and you don't want the software to remove the entirety of the field of grass. Make them blue and use a blue screen. Then I don't know. And I understand it. I mean, it's gonna be dangerous to ride without. I get it, but again, it's the insurance policy. Are arm bracelets also required for insurance? Yeah, I mean, no, that's just Hollywood being stupid with the freaking leather arm. I can't even say it. I can't even say it. Look, my brain refuses to say it. How do you hire artists for videos? I think there are websites that can help you find and connect to an artist depending on what you need. Like, do you need animation graphics? Do you need like images, thumbnails? Kind of depends on what you. If you need thumbnails, I can suggest you the thumbnail artist that has helped me many times. He's really good. Although now lately I've only been doing my own thumbnails mostly because I post 30 times a month, and so I often don't have time to wait for the thumbnail, but I have to get back to him because he's really good. Why is the Colosseum called like that? Well, technically it's not. It's the Flavian Amphitheater, but Colosseum is kind of a nickname, and I think it's because it's a colossus. It's colossal. It's massive. I don't know if it goes deeper than that. No problem, Ruoroni Phoenix. Thank you for joining the stream. It's very much appreciated. Hey, we got 500 people. That's a very successful stream. Thank you so much, guys. Remember to subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you so much. I would appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, guys, so we get a little boost. Man, literally, if be nice to get like a 500 subscribers in whatnot. I know that many of you are already subscribed, but I'm saying, imagine if like out of 500, 300 are not subscribed. If 300 subscribe right now, I would see a spike in my analytics tomorrow. Like I would see it would go like this. Please make it happen, guys. Make it happen. What were you drinking? I'm drinking a Mountain Dew Zero Sugar Baja Blast. I'm in America. What can I say? A special about Garibaldi would be nice, Alex. I'll have to see. What are the talking points for this stream? Well, generally speaking, we spoke a lot about the papacy, I guess, and I'm always open to speak about that. But we're going to switch on a few things. There is a video that I wanted to check about Oblivion, because apparently someone is saying that Oblivion got censored, and then what's his name reacted to it. Asmongold reacted to the video, so I kind of wanted to see what's happening. Like, why are they saying? Because Oblivion Remastered, I put quite a few hours in it, and I'm enjoying it very much. So I'm curious to see what sort of censorship. Because did I notice any censorship in the game? I didn't, but maybe I didn't pay close attention. So I'm kind of curious to see if it's real or if it's not. Because these days, so that's one of the things we'll check out later. Then it's also possible we'll review the video about Life of Brian. That could be fun. You say sounds fake. We'll see. Oh, they reduce cleavage. Is that what it is? Oh, that's so stupid. If they did that, it's so... what's the point? They're gonna mod it anywhere. I don't understand why they do these kind of things. It's so silly. But I don't know if it's fake outrage. We'll have to see Halfdan. We'll check it together. We'll see. I'll give you my honest opinion. Just there's unaltered, unadulterated, and we'll see. Mech Pope. We could have had a pizza pope, man. Cardinal Pizza Balla. We could have had a pizza pope. And as I was telling you, it would have been perfect, because then he could have chosen the papal name John, and we would have had Papa John's Pizza. Man, we missed out. What mythology do you not like? I don't think there is any mythology I don't like. I love mythology. There might be mythology that bores me, but right now I can't think of one. So we'll have to see. Why do popes change their names? I did mention that on my video today, the one I just posted today, if you want the actual details. But to give you a quick answer, not all popes do. Some popes did maintain their baptismal name, but the tradition started in the 6th century because there was a pope named Mercury. And so, of course, you can see why that was considered to be a bit of a problem because it's the name of a pagan god. And so he changed his name, I think, into John. And then, since then, a lot of popes just did that. They changed the name because it became kind of a tradition. Not all did. There are some popes that maintain their name even in the Middle Ages, but the majority of popes have changed their names. And generally speaking, they do it for two reasons. One is an indication of what they hope their papacy will bring about. So they choose a name because maybe they're connecting to an apostle, or maybe, like, for instance, Pope Francis, his name was Jorge, right? Bergoglio. But he changed into Francis because of Saint Francis. The idea was the Saint Francis was that saint within the Catholic tradition that sort of, he was a Franciscan monk, and that's where the order comes from, right? The ones with the brown robes, and they are the ones that speak about poverty, and they speak about, like, modesty, that type of stuff. So when you choose a name as a pope, as a pontiff, oftentimes you're choosing it because you want to kind of give an idea on the sort of message you're going to focus on. But the second reason is in fact quite secular, not necessarily religion, it's branding. The second reason is branding, because a papal name, like the name we just heard today, Leo, right? Basically lion. It sounds really nice. So there is that as well. There is a branding in connection to it. Leo Quartus Decimus, 14th. So yeah. Mercurio, yeah, exactly. I don't squat. No, not much, Jeremiah. I need to start doing that training, adding that training too, yeah. And it's similar when it comes to the reason why the Pope is, again, all of the details on today's video, so maybe after the stream, do go check it out. But in general, even the white color, the white robes, the cassock that he is wearing, it comes from the fact that there was a Pope at one point that was a member of the Dominicans, and the Dominicans wear white robes, right? And like Jesuits, I think, wear black, although Jesuits in Japan wore orange. I'll tell you more about it if you're interested. So he was a Dominican, he maintained his white robes, and then it became a thing. And so the other popes also chose to do that. Hey, Nerd City, with a tick, you're a YouTuber. I want to know if this pope will also be willing to baptize an alien. Ooh, that would be so interesting. They had a discussion about that, didn't they? I remember that. Yeah, but I think any pope should be willing to baptize an alien. Totally. Oh yeah, I remember you. I wanted to double check your channel. Yeah, I remember you. Man, I watched your video. Let me show you, man. So I watched part of your video. I was watching through. I don't know why the red bar is only up to here, the one about Sniper Wolf. I watched more than half, and you cracked me up, man. You're really funny. Plus, I think you look really cool with those sunglasses. Nerd City, very fun content. Yes, I watched that, and you were killing me, man, with the Sniper Wolf thing. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Bazab, for sending one Metatron gift memberships. Do you remember? Let's see who got it, because I can read it. Mark received a gift membership. Well, that's appropriate with the Gospels. We got Mark today getting that. I just want to let you know that the last 30 minutes of the stream is always with members only chat, so everyone can watch, but only members can chat, as say thank you to the members, people joining the channel, and also to give an opportunity to kind of have more of a direct interaction, so that I don't have to just fish your comment out. So that's going to happen. So do stay until the end if you have a membership. Thank you, Raphael, for supporting the stream. From 1 to 10, tell me how much of a Metatron fan I am. At one point, you wanted to start a mythology-focused channel called Icarus Core, but then you changed it to the Clips channel. Am I correct? Well, Raphael, you get a 10 out of 10. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's impressive. Impressive background knowledge. Yeah, that did happen. In fact, right now, I think I have one, two, yeah, I have four main channels really right now, and that I'm running. Four channels, and this one is the main. Maybe I should put it this way. In fact, I did this recently. I added the live stream hours on my banner. I added these three just to say that I'm on Patreon, Twitter, and YouTube. Well, YouTube is obvious. I could have avoided it, but I just liked the proximity of red and purple. What can I say? And then my other channels here are listed just on my page, on my channel page. And yeah, Clips is indeed a repurposed channel that at first I was thinking of doing mythology, and then we have Academy and Protectorate, of course. So that's my situation right now. And then there's Twitch. But yeah, pretty cool. So there's that. A warrior pope when? You're probably like 800 years late, mate. You're 800 years late. Yeah. So Nerd City says, Metatron, I'm working on a video about pyramids and pseudoscience versus science, and you every day are saying things I agree, and I'm too slow to get into a video. I see, I appreciate what you're doing. Hey, yeah, very cool. If you need anything, just let me know. Like if you just want to know something, or you want to double check something that perhaps, I don't know if you're going to discuss the findings, the alleged findings under the pyramids, feel free to ask anything you want. If at any point you want to do a collab, I'm more than happy to do it. Just let me know. Just say the word. You can use, of course, the email, the channel email if you want. Be cool. Slow down. Yeah, no, I'm posting like a maniac, man. I'm posting like a maniac. Will we ever get a Japanese Pope? Ooh, a Japanese Pope. Could you imagine? And then he's like, ah, konnichiwa, minasan, hi, sumimasen. That's what I imagine. That's how I imagine the Pope. Ah. And then he does this. Ah, so desu ne. Ah, sumimasen. これは、はい。 That's how I'm imagining. Oh my gosh, I love the Japanese. 4 years I was in Japan, guys. 4 years. Man, when I came back from Japan when I went back to Italy after 4 years, I felt like I was an alien. Talking about alien. I mean, now technically, legally, I am an alien in America. I'm a legal alien. But yeah, when I went, I remember it was so crazy. I would, like, people would stop the car to let me cross in Italy, and I would bow. Because, 4 years, I would be like, oh. And people were probably like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? Not to mention the language. After 4 years of not hearing Italian, this happened to me as well when I returned after living in England for a couple of years as a teenager, and then I went back to Italy. I had the same weird impression. When you don't speak your language, or you don't hear your first language for a set amount of years, when you go back to your country and you see the kids speaking the language, it feels like they are geniuses, because the only people you see occasionally is an adult maybe that is studying Italian, but then everyone speaks Italian. I'm like, what? That was so strange. That was so strange. But yeah, we need to get a pope that says, "Omae wa mo shindeiru." And we need a pope that mentions Kenshiro. Yeah, same for you, Hofdan. Yeah, when you lived 3 years in England, it was a trip to going back to Iceland. Man, I can imagine that totally. Yeah, why is this metalhead Italian bowing to me? Exactly. Nani? 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 That would be so funny. Oh my gosh. No, but maybe it shouldn't be. Maybe if it's a Japanese pope, it would be cooler if he doesn't speak the super polite Japanese. He needs to speak like anime. Like the anime people, the ones that are like, Naze kimi wa soko ni iru? Ore wa... Like, he should speak like that. Like the kind of badass anime type. That's how we should imagine the Pope speaking. Right? Nani shiagaru? That kind of talk. That's how the Pope should speak. on the microphone. 研究しているお前は That would be great. Man, that would be great. I wish one day I can dub a video game, by the way. It's one of my dreams to voice act for a video game. Whatever language you pick. I don't even care. That would turn you into a Christian. Yeah. I don't know where we went into the Japanese Pope, but here we are. That's a live stream of mine, all right? Yeah, that would be a great situation. That would be great. There is a Japanese cardinal, so yeah, it wouldn't be impossible. It wouldn't be impossible. You know what's funny, Somberlawn, when you say Metatron was that Japanese with a Sicilian accent? You know what the Japanese told me when I was in Japan? They told me, they were like, oh, you're from Sicily, speak some Sicilian. So I spoke Sicilian to them, and they told me, that's so weird, it sounds like a samurai. So because samurai have that kind of speech pattern, particularly in anime, when they're like, I don't know if I can give you an example, but Seisha wa samurai nari. That's how they speak. And then when I speak Sicilian, I go like, "Veriga d'ammazzo ta famiglia." And when I did that, the guy was like, "Oh, that sounds like a samurai." I'm like, "What?" That was the funniest thing ever. I guess there is some overlap. I guess there is some overlap. I don't know what to say. Yeah, okay. So the orange thing, when it comes to the Jesuits, is this. Let me see if I can show you. Jesuits. All right. Middle Ages. All right, let's see if there is a good image. Yeah. So when we imagine the Jesuits, we imagine them like this. So they are in black, full black. That's what the Jesuits are usually historically known for. Full black outfit. However, when the Jesuits moved to Japan and started preaching there, they adopted orange garments. And that you can see. Let me show you. Jesuits in Japan. See if I can find. Yeah, there you go. So you can see this in old school movies. Like, you know, basically Shogun. In Shogun, I don't think they did it, which was a little like, that's a shame. Because in the old school one, you can see it. The Jesuits dressed in orange, right? In the old movies. Now, given maybe by that date they had stopped, possibly, because here's the thing. The reason why they did it, the reason why Jesuits were dressed in orange was specifically because that way the Japanese would associate them with Buddhism, not because the early Catholic missionaries were trying to pretend to be Buddhist, but because they wanted to be seen as religious, right? And philosophical, but religious. And so that was a good way for the population to be like, oh, these men are pretty much like, they're clergy, basically. They wanted them to get that feeling. But after they changed the person, the leader, this lasted for, I think, 30 or 40 years. And then after they changed the person in charge, they were like, no, we're going back to black outfit. But for a period that I don't remember, now I'm saying 30, 40 years, don't quote me on that, but for a certain amount of time, the Japanese, the Jesuits, the European Jesuits, operating in Japan were absolutely dressed in orange, and they did it as a way to kind of communicate to the people, I'm a man of God. That was the idea. Now, of course, the idea of what a god is very different, not only in the perspective of the Japanese of feudal Japan of the 15th and 16th century, but in general, even today, when you translate God in the Christian sense in Japanese, well, if you say Jesus Christ, which they say Jesu Christo, then okay, it's Jesus Christ, they know. But if you just want to say God, okay, in Japanese the word is kami, kami, that's the word. But it's also the same word that they use for the Shinto gods. But are they correctly translated as gods? That's actually a discussion that I had once with a fellow translator of mine when I was working as a translator and I was translating from Japanese to English, is that it is difficult. You have to put a note because in a Shinto term, I would personally translate kami as spirits of nature rather than God. Because when you translate them as gods, you always tend, from the Western perspective, to give them an anthropomorphic image in connection to that word. And that's something that we just have in the West when you hear that word. Whether it be because of ancient Roman gods, whether it be even the Christian God or the Judeo-Christian God, you always have an image that is anthropomorphic in your head. But that image is not necessarily there when it comes to the concept of kami. When it comes to Buddhism, it's different. But Shinto is often called the religion of the, I think, 8,000 gods or something like that. Some can have physical form, like foxes, for instance, can be considered a kami, but other times it can be the rain, it can be the thunder, and so it's very different. It is very different, which is why normally when I was speaking to the Japanese, because I was translating for a Christian congregation in Japan, among the many things I did, is that when you're trying to explain Christianity to a Japanese person who knows nothing about Christianity, which is a lot of them, by the way, but it shouldn't surprise you because how much do you know about Buddhism, honestly? Like, can you even tell me what the scripture of Buddhism is called? Like, majority of people won't be able to answer that in the chat. So it's totally normal that they don't know much about Christianity unless they happen to be Christians. And so sometimes when I was trying to translate concepts, like I know the word, like aganai is the Japanese word for, gosh, I can't remember it in atonement. There we go. So the way Jesus paid for our sins in Gethsemane, that's the word, but don't expect a Japanese to actually understand it unless they're Christian. So you have to find another way. Just knowing the word is not enough to bridge to completely different cultures, which is the beauty of translation, really. Translation is always contextual. So yeah. I think the orange was really good, though. It looked great on the Jesuits. And Gunnar says, Bible translation is a very interesting subject, totally. Like, how do you translate a passage about a door to a culture who don't have doors on their houses? Yeah, and not just that, but there are a lot of discussions that we can have on how you translate bara, which is usually translated as creation, but then that already within Christendom, it's like some say it's creation from nothing, so creatio o creatio et nihilo. For others, it's not gonna be from nothing, depending on which kind of creationist you are. And then you have young Earth creationists and old Earth creationists. Like, already that's within Christendom. Never mind trying to go into how a Japanese would understand the concept of creation. So, and there is a lot that can be said about even just Genesis 1:1. So I agree with you 100%. Nishant, thank you for supporting the stream. Orange is a sacred color in Indic religion like Hinduism and Buddhism. The Hindu Maratha Empire, which became a conference after 1772 AD, had an entirely orange flag. It is still used in India's flag. That's really cool. I love the color orange, by the way. It's not my favorite. My favorite is blue, but of course I like putting it next to blue because they are contrasting colors. They are like opposite in the wheel. So yeah. So there is that. Yeah, Amaterasu. It's with an S though. I don't think it. You spell it Amaterasu. It's Amaterasu with an S. I'm pretty confident with that one because I had one entire chapter dedicated to her in my dissertation thesis when I graduated in university. I remember it was Amaterasu with an S. Yeah. Colors. Yeah, colors are always symbolic. OG, 100%. Even in my freaking thumbnails, I have a color palette and I try to use color theory to try and attract more views. Colors are extremely important in marketing, for instance. Nothing is random. You think that the fact that Facebook is blue with white and then this other site is this other color, do you think that's random? Nothing is random. Nothing is random in those things. Yeah, that's correct. Exactly. Yeah, that's how you spell it. Oh, you know her from Naruto. I see. Very cool. Yeah. So yeah, and that's that. You like black and orange? Yeah, I guess. I kind of think that black goes well with everything. There is one thing about color palettes that really worked with me was in the game Mirror's Edge. I loved that game's simplistic colors because it was mostly like a white with toned down colors, but then you had these accents of fully saturated reds and blues sometimes and greens. Oh gosh, that game. I love that game. It's a work of art. It's a work of art. Yeah. You like Mirror's Edge? Yeah, I finished the whole thing on stream, by the way. Yeah. Yes, I'm aware of the new game with the Mafia series. I'm hoping to stream it as soon as it comes out. Yeah. I might stream the first episode here on the main channel, and then I might stream the rest on Twitch and the gaming channel, Metatron's Protectorate, of course. Best colors are white, blue, and yellow, matching all together. I see. Matching, yeah. For me, blue and white look really good as a combination. I really like it. And so does red and white. Is the second one any good? I didn't get into it. People say yes. I actually prefer the first one. I liked the fact that it was chapter based rather than being open world. So I don't know. I never really got into the second one as much because the first one felt more handcrafted. And even though the levels were clearly smaller and you had less ability to really choose what you want to do, although were always alternative routes and trying to find out, it felt more like a well crafted puzzle trying to figure out how to get to a point from point A to point B. And so that's why plus the music, Mirror's Edge. Oh my gosh, I love Mirror's Edge. I mean, I literally recently finished the entire game, beginning to the end, and I already want to play it again. That tells you that that game is really. That's when a game is well made. When you just can't get enough. You didn't like Mafia 3? I think I played Mafia 3 for some time. It was all right. It just felt that I just wish that they would allow you to enter more businesses and buildings. A bit more like GTA allows you to enter the theaters and enter the clubs and and it feels more alive. I think Mafia 3 was kind of fun for the story, but it really felt like everything was just a decoration that you couldn't interact with. I got that feeling, and I think I put about 20 hours in that game. I feel towards Subnautica what you feel towards Mirror's Edge. Oh no, we both do. I love Subnautica. I love Subnautica. What a game. It's another one I do want to play on stream one of these days. Absolutely dinner. Yeah, there are a lot of old games with phenomenal color palettes. Totally. Yeah, Subnautica, it's what I love about Subnautica is not only the constant feeling of existential dread, but it makes you feel lonely and alone, but in a way that is addictive, and I don't know how they did that. Because the feel is serious. Like if you play Subnautica on your own at night with headphones, man, after an hour, I feel like, oh goodness gracious, it makes you really feel the desperation of if you really get into it. But sometimes the music is phenomenal. You're trying to figure out where do I need to go, the biomes, I don't know, there's a massive monster. I love Subnautica, but it is addictive. I love that game. The only thing the only thing about Subnautica is that sometimes I'm like, okay, what do I need to do now? I occasionally had that feel a couple of times, but there were some areas, like after I built the kind of machine that you can use to, I don't remember, the moth. Is it called a moth something? After I built that, then the game really opened up for those areas that I could finally reach. So that was pretty cool. Do I ever play Tetris? Yeah, on the Game Boy. I still have it, by the way. I still have it. Still works. Do you guys think Subnautica like below zero is good? Because I own it, but I never played it because I wanted to play it after finishing Subnautica, but I never finished Subnautica, and here we are. Yeah, Mirror's Edge 2 would be called Catalyst, right? It's a cool name. It's a good name. Although I'm telling you this, I actually prefer it when they put the number after games, because otherwise what ends up happening is what happened with Need for Speed. That I will hear Need for Speed Midnight, Need for Speed Corner, Need for Speed Glass of Water, Need for Speed Trump and Biden, Need for Speed I've Got Headphones. Like, they have these random names, and I don't even know. It's this Need for Speed 7? Is it 15? Did it come out before midnight or underground? No idea. So it actually pisses me off when they do that. What I understand, the creative, use it as a subtitle. Call it Need for Speed 3, and then you put a subtitle. Because, yeah, Need for Speed Metatron at this point. Why not? Why not? That's what they should do. Need for Speed Pope. Because really, it's insane. I have no idea. When I'm like, oh, I never played this Need for Speed, but which one would it be? And then I need to go to Wikipedia, see the year of release. And I could avoid all of that if you just gave me a freaking name. A number, sorry. A freaking number. If you think about it, it's a bit like Silent Hill, I think, went half and half, because Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3, Silent Hill 4, The Room, which I appreciate that you had The Room, but at least they maintained 4. But then at one point they did start removing the number, and that's where it gets a little confusing for me. Seamoth. Thank you, Koji. That's exactly it. Seamoth. Most Wanted. Yeah, exactly. It's the reason why Dream My Car is the E46. Fantastic. But imagine Macarif. Then I was like, oh yeah, Most Wanted. Which one is it? Oh no, I don't know. It might be for freaking PlayStation 2, or it could be for my 4090. At this point, I have no idea. Need for Speed Leo 14th. That's it. Heat, Hot Pursuit. Goodness gracious. There is one Need for Speed that really pissed me off. And it's, let me see, which one would it be? I want to tell you, because maybe it was Heat, now that I think about it. So if it's the one that I'm thinking, I remember playing, I downloaded, I think it was the demo, and then I stopped playing it. I think it was Heat. A Need for Speed. And then, like, I watch, the game starts, I watch the intro, then I go for character creation. In the intro already, like, I see these people that were like, I don't know, there was an African-American guy, there was a Mexican guy, and they were all like buddies, all friends, and I'm like, okay, cool, I don't have a problem with that, of course. Then the villain was a white cop. Okay, I get it. Then I go to create my character, and I couldn't be white. So I'm like, what? You know, character creators allow you to do whatever you want. Usually, I choose to be a white guy with long black hair, because I couldn't do it. I had to be Asian, African-American, I guess, black, or Hispanic. You could not be European. And I'm like, is it set in Africa? But then why are there Asians? They're like, I got confused, because if you set a game in Africa, then fine, my character has to be African. I don't have a problem with that. If you set it in Asia, that's why a lot of us complained about Yasuke. We're like, can we get a samurai? So of course, if you set the game in Africa, I want to be African. If I'm buying the game, it means I like that setting. But this was weird, because it looked like it was in America. But why can I not be of any European descent? Nothing. It was completely removed as an option. Then, I'm like, whatever. So I create my character. I create this guy, is like muscular, black guy. I'm like, cool. I mean, it looks cool. I'll do that. So I'm starting to play. And I notice there isn't one white guy in the entire town. And then I see that it starts getting full of all sorts of flags. And I think you know what I'm talking about. And that's when I'm like, okay, it's a political move. And that's where I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. So that really annoyed me. Because I'm never against the idea of showing everyone and, you know, giving space to everyone on screen. But if you're going to do it for a political reason and you have to push anti-white sentiment, I'm like, I'm not supporting your game then. Bye-bye. And I stopped. because it is insane dinner. I'm like, what why aren't this the same people that say that they want everyone to feel represented, and that's why in the same scene almost, and now you have a black person, a white person, an Asian person, a gay person, a lesbian person, a transgender person, a person with vertigo, like that's why they do it. And I'm like, well, be consistent with your belief system. You cannot remove people then. If you do that, but then you systematically remove any connection to Europe in a setting where it doesn't make sense, then I think you're garbage. Then you're garbage. Did they have European cars? They did. Absolutely, they did. Of course they did. Yeah, that's a good point. So that's when I'm like, okay, so you're toxic. Because if it is someone that instead genuinely cares about minorities, I have nothing against that. But then when it's like, it's just a facade. The reality is that they're anti-white people. Then I don't have anything to do with that. Pisses me off. It pisses. And I understand that now that someone will clip it and say that this makes me far right. Call me whatever you want. I know I'm not far right, so I don't care. At this point, I don't care what people say. I just say what I think. I'm anti-hatred. But it doesn't matter where the hatred comes from. Exactly, old grey, yeah. And so I'm going to speak my mind when it comes to this kind of situations. And that really, it was so weird. It was so weird to see that happening. But what can you do? Yeah. Metatron, do you respect Wikipedia and its mission? I don't know what it is, Nicholas, so I can't really pass judgment. I haven't got a clue. Believe it or not, I don't spend most of my time into the culture war thing. It's only occasionally. I mostly do things that I love. It's just a very, very occasionally when the culture war enters my space is when I will look at it and be like, oh, that's cringe. And maybe I'll make a video about it so I can monetize the cringe. Since they did make me cringe, I might as well monetize it and share my opinion. It's a platform. It's YouTube, meaning me in this case, so I can share my opinion freely, I suppose. And that's that. But I don't seek out. Like, I'm not here every day writing what's the woke thing, what's this, what's that. I don't know, far left, far right. I don't care. Like, I want to do good stuff. I want to enjoy my life. I want to have fun. I want to speak about elves and Warhammer and stuff like that in history. But when the culture war invades my space, then yes, I will talk about it. I'm not afraid of speaking my mind. Hey, Bazab, thank you. Hate in any form keeps us from being our best selves. I 100% agree with the sentiment. Thank you, man. Tovarish says, nowadays, far right is just a buzzword for I don't agree with you. Yes. And you know what's funny? Is that I have seen people, and I've seen this meme, and it was so funny. It's this kid that hurt himself, and then the dad comes to his rescue, and the kid is like, oh, I hurt my arm. And the dad is like, which arm? The left or the far right one? Which I thought it was brilliant. He was like, the dad can't even say right if he doesn't add far. Which, I mean, they're different, right? It's stupid. It's like you have someone who is on the other side. You have someone who is mildly left-leaning and gets called a commie. It's the same thing. There is a real distinction between being moderately leaning towards the left or the right, or being a far-right extremist or a full-on communist or whatever the heck. And, it's just so funny to think, though, which one, the left or the far right? Nuance is dead, Memento. Yes, chat. Let's go. Nuance is dead. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's so freaking funny. Thank you so much, Trismegitus, for subscribing with Prime. We got 5 out of 10, guys. 5 more subscriptions on Twitch, and we hit the daily quota. I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much, guys. Anyways, I appreciate your support. Yeah, I know. That's crazy, Macariv, isn't it? Yeah. Not allowed. Not allowed on that game. No. Yeah, I shared, since today we're talking a bit, I'll share it later because I don't want to focus on these things too much because I want my stream to be nice and positive and fun. I'll get back to it though. I've got something to show you later. I won't forget because I made a post about it, so it's easy not to forget. But yeah, any new game you guys are looking forward to? Did you hear about? Someone told me before we jump into that Oblivion video, which I do want to check. Someone told me about Civilization 7. They had like a new thing. Official Warlord live action trailer. It's 41 seconds. Let's check it out. Because people told me it's a big deal, so I want to see if it is a big deal. I haven't watched it, as you can see, no red bar. Sid Meier, Civilization 7. Let's see why people are annoyed. Do you guys know why people are annoyed? Don't tell me it's another culture war thing, though. I just said let's change the topic. Please tell me it's no culture war again. Please leave me alone. Just tell me it's because the armor is historically inaccurate. Tell me it's because it's a new gameplay feature that they don't like. Right? Is that what it is? Let's see. 41 seconds, we can do it. What have we got? What have we got, ladies and gentlemen? Hit me. Let's go.
After 136 years, victory is ours, as it is the wish of our leader, Melvin 392. We shall call this land Puddington!
But why Puddington, my lady?
Melvin 392's glorious sweet tooth craves sugary spoils. One more turn! One more turn!
Oh, I see.
Now build something you believe in.
I see. Yeah, it's a video game, Civ 7. It's Civ 7. Well, to give... okay. So I'm just going to say this. She is what? By the looks of it, I'm going to say she's the leader of the Mongols. Yeah, right? It's the Mongols, is it? But why is there a white guy there? Wait. Is this guy's not a Mongol? This guy's a white guy, but whatever. I see what's happening. Well, you know what? Pudding Town. You know what? What's funny about this is that I see where they're going, in the sense that if you're going to say, oh, are you making this political? Is this a message of this and that? They're going to tell you no, because in the video game, you are allowed to choose a leader and make him the commander separately from whatever civilization you play. This is, in fact, a major difference that I don't like, I would like to underline, from the previous Civilization video games. Because in the previous Civilization games, you choose the Greeks, you play as Pericles, or you play as whoever the heck it is, Gorgo, or then you choose the Romans, and you can pick Julius Caesar, or Julius Caesar, or you could play as, which one is like Trajan. So that's how it used to be, and they should have kept it that way, but they didn't. In this new Civilization 7, just to give you some context into this before we talk about the reasons why they did this, is in this one, you pick a leader, and then with that leader, you then choose a civilization, and they don't need to match. I personally hate that choice. They say they did it because it can bring in, I guess, new combinations for gameplay. The reality is that even though I do find Civilization 7 to be a fun game to play, I think it's pretty fun. But the reason why they did it is because basically they copied a lot from Humankind, if you've ever played it. Because Humankind is the game that allows you to begin with a civilization, and then, which I hate, by the way, it's like you start as the I don't know, the Akkadians or the Sumerians, whatever the heck. You start at the Akkadians, then you transition into the Greeks, then you become the Germans, and then you end the game as the Russians. Like, you can do that, which always confused the heck out of me, because I'm like, wait, I'm at war with the Mongols since when? I'm like, because they used to be the French. Like, I always hate that. I hate it. Anyways, they loved it, and they copied it. They literally copied so much from that game. It's insane. Humankind. Yeah, it's basically Humankind 1.5. Anyways, unfortunately, one of the things they copied is this. Now, they did give me Octavianus Augustus, so Octavian, who is my favorite emperor, so I do give them points for that, but I think that it was a bad choice when it comes to gameplay. Because now you can play as the leader is Japanese and she's leading the Romans. I'm like, it's a mess. It's a mess. I don't like it. Now, given when I play, I choose Rome and I give it Augustus every single time. And I will do that until the end of my days, so that if I want to play one of the African civilizations, I prefer... Although it's actually kind of funny, because that's what I'm thinking now. Man, this is going to become comedy here. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking maybe the reason why they did it is that this way they can justify this. They can say, see, strong black leader over people who are not black. You can do that, and cool. But maybe they didn't think that that's going to backfire, because now you can have a white guy in charge of all the Africans. I don't know, did they think about that? Are they ever going to show that? Because in the game, it's doable. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, I'm not particularly offended by this, because, again, it kind of does represent the game. But, yeah, I know exactly what they're doing, and you know it, I know it. And the people, again, I'm not necessarily pissed, but we know why they did it. And if anyone is going to come to me and tell me, no, it's not happening, it's not true, they're not doing it for political reasons, then you're a gaslighter. I will very much respect if you tell me, no, they are doing it to spread a political message, I agree with the message and I think it's a good thing. I would prefer that. And then I would disagree, because I don't like any form of politics in games. I just want to play my games, unless the politics is within the realm, like a Final Fantasy. Tactics, which had incredible politics, but it wasn't pushing. And yeah, I know Final Fantasy VII, in theory, was talking about taking care of the environment. It's different. It's a different time. It's a different time. So I don't like politics in games, so I will disagree with your take. But then again, I will respect it. But if you tell me and you try to gaslight me and tell me, no, it's not happening, it's not true, it's not happening, it's not... Or you tell me it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then why did you change things? It's the same discussion again with the body type 1, body type 2. If you like it, I think you should play it like that. I'm going to mod it and put male and female, because I think it's a useless change of language. But if you tell me it's such a small, trivial thing, and are you so offended by it? It's such a it doesn't matter. But if it doesn't matter, then why did you change it? It's like it's circular logic, and it doesn't work. It was environmentalism in Final Fantasy VII, exactly. It was the idea that the Earth is dying, evil corporation, like, who is gonna... That's the difference. Final Fantasy VII had an evil corporation called Shinra. It's a bunch of super rich people. They are evil, they're bad, they're destroying the planet, and you used to work for them because you're an ex-soldier, sort of, I'm kind of simplifying, but now you don't. Okay, great. The soldier is cool, so every player is gonna love the ex-soldier because he's cool, he has super strength, he's got a massive sword, and then since the villains are so well written, you're gonna hate Shinra, and so it's not gonna be divisive. There's no player in the 90s, and I can tell you that because I was playing, there was no single player that is like, man, I really think Shinra is really the good guys here. No one thought that. But modern day politics, the way they're ingested in games, bring about a division. And that's the thing I don't like, because I prefer my games to be something that unites people. Something that can put together people that have different ideas and different backgrounds, whether it be ethnically, culturally, linguistically, politically, or religiously, but we can all be united by a common passion. That's why I don't like politics in games. I hope I made my point. Thank you, nice Neo, for becoming a guardian. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So yeah. And that's that. I appreciate that, IGN Yamato. Yamato, that's a good name. Yeah, well, look at that. Let's talk armor. Yeah, the armor. Let's talk about the armor. Now that we got away with that. So, what is she wearing? So, it looks like brass. What do you guys think? Brass? My guess is it's brass because it's a bit tarnished. And gold doesn't tarnish. So this is brass, 100%. Yeah, this is brass. And which also means brass has a smell, by the way. That's one of the ways you can identify brass. If brass is very polished, sometimes you might think, is that brass or is it gold? Like if it's a ring. In that, if you don't know, put your finger on it and then smell it. Brass has a smell, gold doesn't. You think bronze? So if this was classical antiquity, then yellow bronze would have been the default, unless we're talking statues. So when you're talking about a, I don't know, a brass, not brass, but like a spearhead or anything like that, then yellow would have been the norm, yellow bronze, rather than because the bronze that we think now is a high the amount of it's the constituents inside the alloy that make it more on the reddish brown side, but ancient bronze for weapons and armor would have been more of a dull golden hue. And so yeah, but this is not, because this is more like, to me, still more possible that this looks like it's brass. Yeah. It looks like some kind of what? It looks like some kind of lamellar. These guys are wearing leather, kind of lamellar armor. The only problem I have with this is not that leather was never used to create scales or lamellae in this case. It looks pretty decent, I'll have to be honest. It's just that it's all like this kind of black color, which is kind of makes it look a bit strange, that they're the coloring. And then another thing is that it kind of looks thin and cheap, these sections. So that's the only thing I would say about this. This is a beautiful shot, though. I hate that this guy is wearing his, man, I'm gonna go pedantic here. I hate that this guy is wearing a, what is it called? Man, I don't remember the name in English now. It's not a collar, it's a, I'm sure you're gonna tell me. Gorget, thank you. So he's wearing a gorget, but a gorget is supposed to be worn underneath your breastplate, regardless of what breastplate. Not to mention, it looks stupid because he's still wearing the same kind of leather that the others are wearing, but then he's wearing what appears to be a 16th century medieval plate. So it's a gorget. So that's already out completely wrong. But gorget are supposed to go under the breastplate, not over the breastplate. I see that happening so much in LARP, for instance, and every single time I want to tell them, could you please put the gorget underneath the breastplate, because that's how it's supposed to function. Because if you try and imagine that I'm trying to stab this guy in the middle, but my blade slips and he goes up, it might go inside underneath the gorget and stuck it into his throat. However, if the gorget is under the breastplate, that's not going to happen. So that's basically the base function of a gorget is this. So yeah, Nick says, but Metatron, even though I dislike the decisions made around the new Civ, cool. If you agree video games are art, we can agree you cannot separate politics from art. Why can you not separate politics from art? I'm not sure why you would say that. And thank you for the support, by the way. I'm just trying to figure out why, because you can have a painting, you can have a portrait, you can have an artistic representation that does not involve politics. Absolutely. So, and once again, it's not even the fact, it's the fact that it's not, it's like to push a message, and oftentimes that has a secondary effect on the game. Look at Dragon Age Veilguard. When it's a little bit, by the way, I'll still play the game. I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, I will boycott, but I will boycott in the sense that I will not buy the game if they go extreme like they do in Veilguard, because now it's unrecognizable. It's not even the same game anymore. And that's when that's a problem. That is a problem, you know? To yellow to be bronze, yeah, depending. Doesn't brass turn green? Once again, the way, what you're talking about is a patina. The patina develops on all forms of copper and copper alloys, whether it be brass or bronze. And what this patina does, yes, sometimes is green. That's my favorite version, and it happens on all three. Mostly in bronze, but it does happen on all three. And sometimes it can develop into an orange or sometimes brown patina. Also, the green version may have blue hues. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So it really depends, yeah. For instance, if we look at this one, this example, yeah, that's the kind of green patina that we're talking about, which to me, by the way, is gorgeous. And it's one of those cases where it's intensely green. So that's one of those cases, absolutely, in bronze, as you can see. Now, let me see. This one here instead, you can see it's kind of developing a little bit of a brown version, more of an orange-brown. Yeah, in fact, it's an orange patina that you can see here. And so it really depends on this one also has more of a reddish brown, so they're not always the same. The ones that turn into a little bit of a bluish color are also gorgeous for me. This is more of a green, but as you can see, it kind of depends on the areas. Yeah, maybe this one. Yeah, look, this one has a bit of that bluish color that I was talking about. Man, I found all of them, except everything. It's still in the green side, but of things, I guess. But let me put back to 100%. But it is a little bluish, if you know where I'm coming from, depending on, I guess, on what monitor you're using. And yeah, and this patina, by the way, is not rust. Rust will completely eat through the metal if not stopped, and you will be left with nothing. This patina instead protects the metal from corrosion. So after this is developed, it stops, which is a very nice thing. Man, look at this beauty. Man, this is almost blue. Goodness gracious, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Thank you, Malik, for supporting the stream. If you had to tier Claudius, where is he? I say B tier. Maybe, it depends. B tier, yes, because of his policies and war effort, particularly for what he did in how he was successful to go to Britain. But if we go into his sexual things, then no, it's going to go to F. So it depends. It is so gorgeous, by the way. I love these. One game that did bronze right is Assassin's Creed Origins. Let me see if I can find... Yeah, look. They actually did the yellow variety of bronze, which is more congruent with the era. It's more congruent with the era. I always thought it was really cool. Weapons. Yeah, see? It's the yellow type. But for the classical period, that's what it would have looked like. Most bronze would have looked like this. So they did a really good job. Armor. See, it's always this kind of golden hue. And, well, this one, no. This one is like sci-fi. It doesn't matter. It's a mod. But you know what I mean. And maybe if I write helmet, we can see something. I actually did a study on this, what the color of bronze would have been. And everything points to a yellow bronze for weapons and armor in classical antiquity. When it comes to another game that does this right, is Conan Exiles. Of course, I'm the only one who appreciates this, I imagine, in percentage-wise. Let's see if I can find what I'm talking about. Yeah, there we go. Right. So, for instance, we can see this guy. These type of, whenever we've got like scales or lamellae in this game, and even the Greek ones. There are some that look Greek. Let me see if I write Greek. I put so many hours. I put 1,000 hours in this game, by the way, guys. 1,000. Found it. See, this guy in scale, and it's all like this golden hue. I was very happy to see this, that they represented it in a way that I believe to be correct. Well, this is, I think this is in the game, or is it a mod? I don't know. But anyways, pretty cool. Pretty cool. You have to attend that bronze casting workshop. Yeah, you're right. That would be great. Why does that helmet have so many rivets? Usually rivets are used to connect the liner inside. They can also be made for aesthetic reasons, but oftentimes when you see rivets on helmets, it's because that's what they use to then connect all the liner inside the helmet that basically provides padding so that when you're wearing it, it's more comfortable. That's what rivets do. Yeah. Hey, so many people are writing Gorget, 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 yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think bronze would have been shiny because that's how it's described by the sources. If you read Vegetius and a few other sources, both Greek and Roman, they often talk about helmets being shiny, sometimes to a point that they reflect the sun. And there is, in Greek literature, I think it's in the Iliad, there is a passage that speaks about at night, the helmet of one of the Greeks, I don't know if it's Menelaus or Agamemnon, that shines and glitters in the moonlight. It's described. So that's and if it's matte, it's not going to do that. So I imagine they were highly polished. Yeah. What do I think about polished winged hussars? That they are badass. You wasted 4,000 hours in Warframe. Hey, if you enjoyed it, it's not a waste. It's a neat sci-fi child warlocks piloting ninja, my gosh, meet golems filling the military role of knights. Pretty cool. That sounds fun, actually. Goodness gracious. Yeah, imagine a whole army wearing polished bronze, yeah. I don't know if it's going to be the whole army wearing that level of quality, of course. Probably officers and leaders. But like, imagine the armor of Alexander the Great, what it would have looked like. Even if he was wearing the linothorax, but reinforced with polished bronze scales, it would have looked incredible. Or like a musculata worn by a Roman general, like a legatus. Incredible stuff. Fantasy leather, pretty much. Yeah. It's always the leather jerkins, isn't it? Yeah, cool. Andrew, it's fine. Munition, totally. Not all medieval armor would have been like I always have my helmets pearl polished, but that's me. I just love it that way. And a lot of medieval armor would have been matte polished, and then yeah, for munition quality, oftentimes they would just paint it. You could just paint a helmet if you couldn't afford the very expensive process of even getting to a matte polish, never mind mirror polish, then you could paint it. We know that they did that as an alternative way to decorate your armor. If you like were a bit on a budget, if you will. Boob armor was shiny for sure, absolutely. Lord of the Rings is great armor. I like the way elven armor looks. It's just that sometimes in Hollywood movies, even if the design of fantasy armor looks good, you can tell sometimes that it's like polyethylene, or it is like basically kind of a plasticky material because of the way it bends. And if you're familiar with how metal is, that's a bit annoying. That's in fact one problem that I have with Oblivion Remaster. The armor, they did the thing that they often do, but they don't do it in all games, where the armor breathes with you. So you can see that the character has animation when he's idle, he will do. And then you see that the plate literally does this, extends and does this. I hate seeing that because metal shouldn't do that, of course. Metals just move up and down, but that's it. So I hate it when they do that. It's polyester, I thought so, yeah. Unfortunately. So that's the only thing. And I understand it's probably like a small detail that would require a lot of work, but there are games that do it right though. And it isn't like aren't the Souls games like Dark Souls? I think the armor is pretty decent there, the way it physically reacts to the environment. Metatron, you're going to battle. What kit would you use personally? Full plate. I would be a full plate guy. The only thing is that in my experience, even though from an aesthetic perspective, I love big pauldrons, particularly the asymmetrical style pauldrons that I own, they do get heavy after a while. So if it was a real battle, maybe I would be one of those Italian knights that actually chose not to wear the pauldrons and only relied on the mail for their shoulders, which you could think, but that's crazy. It's not enough protection. Sure, but then again, you're on top of a horse. So it's not like a lot of people are going to be able to reach the top of your shoulders still. Absolutely. You are giving up quite a lot of protection. But I'm saying because I'm not a medieval trained knight, I didn't start training since I was 8, for crying out loud. If they told me you have to participate into a full medieval battle, maybe the pauldrons, maybe I'll ditch the pauldrons for that one. Was Lorica Musculata ever made of iron or leather? Iron and bronze, yes. Leather, not that I know of, no. It was metal. And there were two versions if you look at iconography. The full one, which goes all the way down to your, basically where your genes are, which must have been a little quite restrictive when it comes to movement. And then you have the short version that stops at your natural waist, or pretty much where your navel is. And we see that with naval officers usually in the Roman army, so it makes sense. If it's someone who needs to move and go up and down a ship and a boat and this and that, and maybe they like musculata, but they want to make sure that they can still bend and move. Maybe if you are like a legatus and you want full protection, since in theory you're not supposed to enter combat and you're just going to stay on your horse, but still an arrow or maybe a crazy enemy might get close to you, then you want the protection, then I can see why even an emperor would wear the full musculata. It makes sense, you know, but yeah, in iconography we find two, and then there is a big difference between Roman muscle cuirass and Greek muscle cuirass, in the sense that the Roman one is usually highly decorated. When it's like emperors and generals, it is highly decorated. Whereas in general terms, in broad terms, the Greek armor, the decoration was the muscle. It's a different take to a similar concept. Yeah. Will you do a Dark Souls playthrough? I can try, Mark, but I'm not very good. So it's very likely that I will play it, and then I'll start dying at one of the bosses, and I'll try a different boss, and then if I keep dying, I'll probably give up. I never finished a Souls game. I got pretty far on Dark Souls 2, but I never finished a Souls game. I'd like to try, and I see creators do that. Like I've seen, of course, Jacksepticeye, Critical, they usually finish their Souls games. I don't think I'm at their level of skill. And this is not even involving those insane people that can literally finish the entire game no hit. I don't know how that's even humanly possible, but people do it. Well, I guess if I was only able to speak Italian, and I had devolved, and I had used all of the hours thousands of hours that I've put into language learning to play Dark Souls, I imagine I would be able to do it too. It's kind of a personal choice, isn't it? But the idea that that's even achievable doesn't sound human to me. How can you? And I've seen this guy that played all 5 Souls games, all of them in a row, with never getting hit. In the sense that it's a run, it's a rule. So imagine you finish Demon Souls, never got hit the entire game. Then you finish Dark Souls, then you finish Dark Souls 2, but then when you reach, imagine Dark Souls 3, you get hit once, you have to restart from the first game you started. This has happened. I need to see what his name is, but someone did that. All 5, no hit. And in one of these trials, he got hit towards the middle of game 5. He screamed like a maniac, and I can imagine that. I couldn't do it. I would be too anxious that like I get a blackout, or like something happens, or I sneeze, for crying out loud. But someone did it. Insane. Max respect. And here I am, I can't even finish it normally, get like dying and respawning 50 times. Just try until you win, easy. Yeah, but then again, I have to make content, so I need to produce stuff. I can't do it. Like, I have a regular channel to take care of. Like, that's the thing. You need to put a lot of hours into it, and I hope to be... I'll try. We'll see where we can get, but maybe I should also kind of study a little bit the strategies behind it, right? Yeah, I would not do such a run. I wouldn't even try it. I'm too anxious to think that. I know for a fact that I would get performance anxiety because they do it live on top of everything. It's not like they're recording it on their own. Man, imagine the heartbeat. I am looking forward to doing Dark Ages. Yeah, I'll totally try that. Jolly cooperation with your wife. We always have a good time when we play games together, absolutely. That man must like pain. Totally, Dream. Can you please honor me with ancient name, whichever culture of your choice? Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius, I don't know, it's the first name that came to mind, I guess. Speedruns are crazy. I do love speedrunners. I do like seeing what people manage to do. Have you ever seen speedrunners playing Mirror's Edge 1 and the way they have this like weird technique to jump? I tried it, couldn't get it to work once. They have this weird way to jump that actually breaks the game and allows them to reach areas that you're not supposed to reach in the game, and I love this kind of stuff. So I'll have to learn that one. Souls are notoriously difficult, aren't they? Absolutely, Old Grey. Absolutely. They will punish you for blinking. What about Spolders? Spolders are easier to wear, yeah. Totally. I do have a pair of Spolders that are like significantly smaller. How do I say Metatron in Italian? The same. Metatron. It's the same. Just a little, just trill your R and you turned it into the Italian way of saying it. Metatron. Yeah. Have I played New Oblivion? Yeah, I have 3 streams on this channel alone. So if you want to watch me play it, you got 3 streams to like 10 hours of gameplay of playthrough to watch. I'll keep playing it though. Yeah, I'm interested maybe in Ghost of Yotei. I need to see though, Lady Jennifer. I think I'm gonna wait for people to play it and do some reviews. I'll watch them and then I might play it if it's interesting. But honestly, I would rather first finish Ghost of Tsushima, because that one was very good. Elden Ring is a phenomenal game, Goatee. I'm pretty bad at it too. No, we don't add vowels to that one. Sorry, Memento. We just say Metatron. We don't change it. How to get to Discord? Gosh, the Metatron Discord? I'll have to see. I don't know how to do the invite. Yeah, I do have a Discord, but I don't know how to give the link. So we'll have to see if someone who already is a member, maybe. Because I don't know how to do it. I never use... Very rarely, not never, but I very rarely use Discord, so that's why. Copy user ID, yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I have no idea how to do it, guys, I'm sorry. Right now I'm trying to figure out Twitch. Just one of those things. Goatee says I'm starting to save up money for PlayStation 5. Yeah, I get that, sure. For GTA 6, very cool. Oh, sorry. Alright guys, so it's 8, so I'm gonna do the last 30 minutes with members only chat, as we always do, to say thank you to the members, and then at 8:30 I'm gonna go make dinner. So thank you. Do still stay if you want, you're more than welcome, but I'm gonna give priority to members in chat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, click. Welcome to the inner circle. Lith managed to get one last. I always like to mention who the last person who managed to get a regular chat. Completely believable videos. I believe it's Hierakopolis, Falcon Hawk City. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll have to check. I love the sound of that. Welcome, channel members. Thank you for your support. It is now your time to shine. Anything you wanted to talk about, very likely now for me to read your comment. So, and of course, thank you for your support. You know, lately, YouTube has been a little crazy with the views. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're horrible. So your support really helped me maintain the stream and keep streaming, maintaining the channel production. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Glory to dinner, says Legato. He's right. Supports Metatron. Thank you, Nicholas. Appreciate that. Ave Guardian, say dream. So what is this Wikipedia, named after the Wookiee species? Is the Star Wars wiki intended to cover all of canon and legends? Man, that's awesome. I'll probably have to go and study it a little bit then. Have you heard of the band Nile? No, never. Death metal about ancient Egyptian mythology. Goodness gracious. Sounds cool. I don't want to go to too deep, but is having an American Pope a big thing? I guess it's like a new thing. So anything new is a big thing, I imagine. I mean, it doesn't really matter from a faith perspective where the Pope is from, but yeah. My dad was impressed on the phone call, if you remember, when he called. He's like, "We have an American Pope, it's incredible." He didn't mean it in a bad way, though. My dad loves Americans. And so do I, of course. I married one. So yeah. And while we're having our nice chat, let me close these tabs for now that we don't need. Very cool. Is my father very religious? Yeah. He's a Christian man, but like me. But he doesn't really go to church that much, though, so he's not very practicing. But yeah. Fair warning, Wikipedia has spoilers all over the place. Oh, I see. Good to know. Thank you for letting me know that. Letting me know that. Is that right? I don't know why it sounds weird in English for me, but whatever. Glory to dinner. It's such a funny thing to say. So be advised. Cool. Absolutely. So in the meantime, let me tell the wife that we began the last 30 minutes of the stream. Okay, just told her. Your words are fine, errors I see, cool. What do you think the reaction of the Vatican would be if aliens were met and confirmed? Would it question their whole religion? Curious to hear your point of view. Personally, I don't think so. I personally think that they do believe that there are aliens around. That's what I think. Now, I can't prove it. Although, then again, I have been to the secret archives. Don't forget that. But that's what I think. I think they think that there are aliens. Maybe not everyone, but I think there are absolutely some cardinals that think that. That's what I think. Did you know about Lucifer? And I'm not talking about the fallen angel. Do you know what Lucifer is in this context? I'm going to show you, since we are in the inner circle now. Hey, Macraverem, thank you for becoming a member. I'll make it worth your while. So, there it is. Let's see if you know this one. Did you know that the Vatican owns a telescope named Lucifer, and it's in America, and it's specifically pointed at the sky to look for stuff like that? Not the only thing, but it's a space observation. It's not actually technically named Lucifer. It's like an acronym, kind of a joke name, I guess. Because let me see how they came up with the nickname. Yeah, I think it's here. Large binocular telescope near infrared utility with camera and integral field unit for extragalactic research. For extragalactic research, guys. For extragalactic research. So yeah, of course they are all into the science as well. Like they like the idea of astronomy, I guess. But it does make you think, are they looking to see if there are aliens up there? It's kind of fun to think it that way. It's kind of fun to think it that way. At the end of the day, I don't think that... I know that some people think that, oh, if there are aliens, they are demons. I know there are people that think that. I'm not one of those. I do think that if you, of course, from the point of view of an atheist, you can still believe that there are aliens. Maybe you think that the distances are the problem. Because for me, when it comes to talking about aliens, it's the math. It's the math. Like in a space so vast, like the universe, the cosmos, I think there are absolutely multiple civilizations that are conscious. So not just animals, actual civilizations. The only thing is that what about the distances that divide us? And then it becomes a technology question. Because you see, even if from our current understanding of science, we are like, yeah, I mean, maybe there is someone in Alpha Centauri, maybe there is someone in Orion, maybe there's someone further away, but the distances are impossible to traverse, so there's no way they ever arrived here, and there is no way that we will ever come into contact based on a current scientific understanding. But do remember that based on the scientific understanding that they had in ancient Rome, a computer would also be impossible to build. And yet, here we are, we build it. So if it's a civilization that has 50,000 years on us, we are not in any position to say what will be scientifically impossible to them. So that's why I always like to, I'm not like one of those who absolutely is going to tell you. So at the moment, I haven't seen enough evidence to convince me that we were visited. So I'm not convinced. I'm very skeptical. But as you can see, I think, and when I think logically about this, I cannot completely remove the possibility. Because when you look at it this way, that's just a 2,000 years, it's not even a 2,000 years gap. We invented the computer in the 1900s. Before, already in the 1800s, it would be impossible to create a computer. In the medieval period, it would be impossible to even think to reach the moon or to build a plane. Impossible. But now it's possible. So we are in no position to say what would be impossible to a civilization that even has only 10,000 years, maybe even 2,000 years on top of us. What if they have 100,000 years on us? Yeah. So yeah, I'm open to the possibility. Personally, I think the Vatican is too, but that's just me, since we are talking today about all sorts of things. So, St. Nicholas says, do aliens need Jesus? Do they have an afterlife? I don't know, honestly. But yeah, as a Christian man, I would say yes. But, I mean, it's just faith and speculation at this point. And, well, to each his own, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, Lucifer in Latin means light bringer or bringer of light. It's actually a beautiful name. It is, regardless of what it represents. Yeah, you're also a follower of that statistical theory. Yeah, unless there is a reason that we don't understand. Maybe there is a great filter, that's what they call it. Maybe there is a great filter and it's literally impossible for a civilization that is evolving to go past a certain moment. And I mean, we got close to it. We have got nukes. Is it really impossible for any civilization to not self-destruct once they reach a certain technological advancement in their wars? I hope not. I prefer to be a little more positive about that and say that maybe we'll figure this thing out when it comes to the wars at one point before we get to... But we did get to that point. We are in a position that now we could ensure mutual annihilation. If a nuclear war starts, it's the end for everyone. There is no victor. Hopefully that's enough to prevent it. But yeah. I took a shower and now I'm back from the great filter. Yeah, there we go. Great. Exactly. Yeah, 2,000 years ago, they would think we were using magic. Totally. That's why there is that saying that I like very much. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. 100%. 100%. So we are the only one left? No, there could be other civilizations, but the idea is, if you think that there is a filter, then maybe they're there, but they cannot pass a certain technological level, and so they can never reach a level that would allow us to come into contact with us. But with the sheer numbers that we are working with and variables that we are working with when talking about the cosmos, I don't believe that. I personally don't find it the most logical, unless you can prove to me, yes, there is a filter, but then you have to prove it, and it's really difficult to prove it because the only civilization that we have is ours. It's the only one we can study, unfortunately. So no, I don't believe we're the only one. I don't believe that. Yeah. Morning Star is also a translation, totally. Greetings, my fellow initiates. Love the names. Love the names. Goaty says, my personal thought is aliens are going to find us first and either exterminate us or teach us a super advanced tech and such. Yeah, I think the difficult part when you try to speculate, imagine, create these thought processes, is that it's really difficult to not project ourselves onto the aliens. Even when you think, oh, an alien, like the xenomorph is the perfect representation of human fear, which makes it human, though. So the fact that it's a carnivore, it's a predator, it wants to eat you, it wants to kill you, like all of those things belong to our reality. And so that's the same. A lot of the times the aliens are projections of the way we think. The reality is that the aliens may be even more terrifying than that, because the real terror that can come from really meeting an intelligent life that is alien is the terror of the unknown, is something that is so different to the way we experience our reality that it's oh my gosh, we don't know what kind of psychological effect that could have on us because it hasn't been sufficiently studied. How do you study something like that? I guess maybe the best way to try and study that would be to study deep sea fauna, because they really look alien, right? The depth of the sea we don't know much of it either. It's not just outer space that we don't know. It's the depth of our own planet that we don't know. So maybe studying and seeing our reaction, but then again, it's not conscious. So what if it's conscious? What if it's sentient? What if it's, oh gosh, it's scary. Yeah. What's your opinion on panspermia, the idea that life did not originate on Earth? Life, you mean human life or all life? Which one of the two? Because it kind of depends. Yeah, as I say, I can't... If you're trying to think that it's like an alien species came here to kickstart the life, I mean, I can't prove it. It's kind of an unfalsifiable statement. So there is that. If we can't get along with each other, I doubt we will ever have a good reaction to aliens. Yeah, I mean, sure. Unless they are so powerful that it doesn't matter what reaction we have, because they're gonna control us at that point. And that's one of the things in movies, that it's a plot problem, that oftentimes you're like, look at these aliens. They, like, for instance, the movie Signs. Oh, look at these aliens. They're so powerful. They're so advanced. They're so amazing. And then they're idiots. Like, literally. And I'm not saying that Signs... I'm not saying the aliens won't have their fair share of idiots. I'm just saying that their fair share of idiots are not going to be the ones that reach us. Movie Signs. Man, what is it called? I can't find it. I thought it was called... Oh, yeah, Signs. There you go. I don't know why. Oh, because it's freaking Yahoo. Yahoo is useless. Signs. There you go. Yeah, the way this movie... I like the movie. It's fun to watch. But the aliens are so stupid. The aliens are so stupid. So literally, these aliens, they're so technologically advanced. They do the crop circles that are a way to signal where they're supposed to land. And then they, little spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't watched it, I'm just letting you know. So these aliens are so advanced, they traverse the galaxy and they decide they're going to take our planet. But the one thing that these aliens are, it's basically their kryptonite is, spoiler alert, I'm giving you 5 seconds, is water. Water. Like, how stupid are you? You chose literally a planet that is over 70% water. Then you come here with your army, by the way, no weapons involved. They just have a little gas biological weapon in their wrist, which is ridiculous. Anyways, that's what they have, and it's not even powerful because it doesn't even kill a kid with asthma, whatever. So they have, yeah, and then it starts raining, and they have to retreat. What, they couldn't invent a raincoat? I'll give them the freaking raincoat. So yeah, sometimes the idea of, if aliens are that advanced and that intelligent, why are they behaving like idiots? That's what happens in movies oftentimes. Yeah, and their vanguard warriors are defeated by this gentleman with a baseball bat. Not a red-blooded American with a AR-15. This guy with a baseball bat. Baseball bat. That's what the alien soldiers, vanguard of alien military power. Baseball bat. So yeah, it's one of those things. If aliens have spaceships, spaceflight, and can travel between solar systems, they would way smarter than us. Absolutely, we wouldn't stand a chance. Our weapons would be nothing. Like it would be what happened between European powers and Mesoamerican civilizations like the Aztecs, but on steroids. So basically like 100 times that. So it would be like us now conquering, like going to a planet where the hominids and the whatever species is there, they're still in the Stone Age. And then we arrive. We would be worshipped as gods. That's what would happen if they are like us. Of course, if they are not like us completely, then it's impossible really to speculate that much at that point. A little like H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, where microscopic organisms were the downfall of the invaders. Yeah, a bit more believable, but even that, how did they not have tech to figure that one out? I think it's just a cop-out at that point. They didn't know how to end the movie, so they thought, oh, microorganism killed them off. It is a bit better than a freaking a glass of water and a baseball bat. I'll give him that. Yeah. Not stupid aliens, just stupid writers. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, you need to come up with something better. Maybe like another alien species that saves us because they are more advanced than the one that attacked us, but they don't want us to be destroyed for whatever reason that we can't understand. And so they stop the aliens, the bad aliens that are gonna try and destroy us. And, and anyways, it's not necessarily, it's not automatic that aliens will decide that we are a problem. Do you have any Japanese denim? What, the jeans? No. I didn't even know they were a thing. Humans got that plot armor. Yeah, plot armor, let's go. Since the book came out more than 100 years ago. Which book are you talking about? Let me see. Let's see. Arrogant generals are a thing for humans. Yeah, but if you put an arrogant general against a colony of ants, the general will never lose. It really is a matter of gap. If the technological gap is small, it's asymmetrical warfare, but it's small, then sure, an arrogant general could mean victory or defeat. But if the gap is like between humans and a colony of ants, doesn't matter. You just step on them. Or use whatever other chemical that the ants can't even understand. How can an ant understand why there is a highway being built? So like maybe they're building something in the side of the universe and we are a problem. I hope not. Nevermore said, thank you for the support. Not aliens in science, Metatrons, they're demons. In science, they're demons? I didn't think they were. I thought they were aliens. I don't remember that plot. Unless it's like written in a way that I was supposed to figure it out. Lane Barry, thank you for the support. Did you give the band Ex Dio a listen? Not yet, no. Ex Deo. I don't know why I read it that way. No, not yet. Ah, War of Worlds came out 100 years. I see. I didn't know that. As Guardians became so smart, they lost the ability to think of simple solutions. Was quite intriguing. That's an interesting way of looking at it. They wouldn't even need to leave their ships. Exactly, OG. Instead, they are literally leaving their ships butt naked in a planet 70% water. Yeah. I mean, even if they are demons at that point, they're idiot demons. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy plot. Oh, I see. Earth is in the way of the space highway. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'll have to check it out. That sounds interesting. But yeah. I actually liked the game, the movie Avatar, because it kind of flipped and we were the invading aliens that were more technologically advanced than the native species of the planet that was being harvested for resources. I actually liked it that movie flipped it around. I always like that. It's one of those movies that I watch when I'm on a plane, at least until I bought the Switch. Then I stopped and I started just playing the Switch for the entire 8 hours flight from America to Italy and vice versa. Higashi Martial Art, thank you for the support. Ever watched The Twilight Zone? No, I don't think so. Twilight Zone. I know my wife made me watch Twilight. I wasn't a huge fan of the vampire love stories, but let me tell you, the Italian vampires, they're badass. That's the one thing I liked about Twilight. But I know that's not what you're asking. I just don't know what that is. Just made me think of Twilight. Yeah. I just don't like love triangles. They piss me off. I know that they were a thing in the early 2000s. I hate love triangles. They annoy me. It's always annoying that the girl can't make her damn mind. You gotta choose. You can't have them both. Stop playing with their feelings. That's what I think during love triangles. They piss me off. Let's get Metatron to 1 million. Yeah, subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate shiny vampires. Yeah, I mean, the shiny skin thing, I thought it was kind of cool. It's a difference. To make it a little different, make it original, your own story. Death Clock Before. No, never watched it. As a metalhead, it's almost required. Then I'll have to watch it. I'll have to check it out. Old sci-fi show from the 70s. I see, Higashi. Twilight Zone. No, I never watched it, no. Man, from the 70s, I can already imagine the special effects. By the way, what should I have for dinner tonight? We're getting close to it. Maybe some pasta? Do you think it's a pasta day or is it a pizza day? Decisions, guys. It's an anthology series blending science fiction, horror, and fantasy, exploring human nature and societal issues. Cool. Twilight Zone is legendary. I'll have to check it out. Soup, you say? I don't think we have any soup. No. Cookies? Yeah, that's not a meal. Me and my friend's favorite game in high school was read a random sentence of Twilight in isolation and laugh at how stupid and wrong it sounds. That's kind of fun. Man, the originality. You guys were very creative. I'm thinking a creamy Alfredo with a side of asparagus. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, might as well do asparagus with butter, if you know what I mean. Let's go fully Celtic. Let's discuss the Romans. Pasta al forno, man, I wish, Jack. I miss Sicilian pasta al forno. So for those who don't know, pasta al forno is an Italian dish. Oven-baked pasta, right? This one. This is pasta al forno. So you make the pasta and then you oven-bake it, and it's great. Okay, maybe with a little cheese so it gets a little crusty on the top. Love it. But do you know what Sicilian pasta al forno looks like? I'll show you. It's rings. It's rings. That's how we make it. If it's pasta al forno, but you are in Sicily, it looks like this. Always. Anelletti. It's a very traditional. If you're in Naples, in other areas in Italy, then you can have like rigatoni, whatnot. But Sicilian pasta al forno is always, man, it's making me hungry. It's always little rings. Little rings. That's a typical Sicilian. If you see this, it's Sicilian. And sometimes, as you can see, they make it into, kind of has a shape. Not always, though. Kind of depends. But if you're in Sicily and you enter almost any cafe that is big enough in the sense that they also give you lunch options. So they have tables. If you go there during lunchtime in Sicily, you'll find this. And it also has eggplant, because a typical way of making Sicilian sauce is to add fried aubergines or eggplant on top. This is the black thing that you see here is a sliced aubergine and it's been fried. That's another Sicilian thing because it gives it that tiny... We use Tunisian aubergines in Sicily, by the way. It's called melanzana tunisina. Oh no, it's good. Believe me, Goatee, because it's not just regular eggplant, it's tunisina. And it's amazing. Man, I love it. Melanzane tunisina, that's what it looks like, so you know what I'm talking about. It's this. It's this one here. It's like circular and purple. This one here, kind of circular. Circular tunisina. I guess that's, yeah, it's tunisina. I don't know why it's showing me this, but yeah. Melanzana tunisina, like this one. And, oh my gosh, it's so good. When you fry it in little cuts, little squares, you fry it, put it on top of tomato sauce, and then add some Parmesan cheese on top. Guys, you're going to love it. Yeah, nice color. I agree. It is really good. Apology, but my grammar horrible today. Don't worry about it. Not a problem. Not a problem. You're hungry now. Yeah, tell me about it. Me too. Yeah. Their albums are heavy as heck, though. Oh, I see, Thomas. An entire dish of tiramisu. I would love that after dinner. Like, after dinner, you give me a sink of tiramisu, and I will eat the whole thing. Special miso soup in honor of the Japanese Pope. You know what, Mark? I'm not into Japanese mood when it comes to food tonight. Plus, I already had Korean noodles for lunch, so I think for dinner, I need something else. I actually can hear my wife is in the kitchen right now. I wonder if she made something, because I can hear dish noises. Maybe there is something waiting for me. Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah. By the way, how's the video doing? Let me check. Since we're here, let me have a look. Today's video. Oh, number 1. That's great. 50,000 views in 4 hours. Love it. Love to see it. That's why it's important sometimes to be, some topics are time sensitive. And it's really good to be on top of your game when that happens. I'm very happy that I hope that will bring in some subscribers as well, because the subscribers have been, 11.1%. Let me see if I can show you this without showing stuff that is too personal. Yeah. So we got an 11.1% of impression click-through rate. That is insane. That's crazy. You see, you get this ranking by views here, and it's how you see how your video is doing. And you see, I make a video on the Scythians that it was nice, and it gets 8,000 views in the same space of time that this video got 50,000 views. The difference is huge. And that's one of the tough things about being a YouTuber. You everything you do gets graded. Everything you do. Now, given the average watch time is not great, but that's because it's a shorter video, by the way, because my longer videos, if I make a 47 minutes video, then the average watch time goes up to 14 minutes, 16 minutes. That does happen. Thank you, Mud, for supporting the stream. I appreciate that. I heard a story from a CIA guy. He said during the Cold War, he saw a foreign report saying the US could not be invaded because there were over 670,000 DL licenses sold in Wisconsin alone in 1985. Goodness gracious. Like, you mean that they are armed? That the population is armed? The population is armed. Here, us included. Must have authentic Sicilian dish you recommend when going to Sicily. Yeah, I mean, definitely that. Like pasta with the pasta al forno alla siciliana and then arancine. You need to have arancine. But it depends which area of Sicily you go. It might be called arancina or it might be called arancini. Make sure you pronounce it like the locals do, or they will eat you alive. So if you're in the east of Sicily, call it in the masculine. Arancino, arancini. If you are in western Sicily, call it in the feminine. Arancina, arancine. You do need to practice that. You don't want to offend Sicilians. You do need to practice that one. It's so funny. In the east, arancine tend to be more triangular, and in the west, they tend to be more round. And the fillings are different as well. So, yeah. Maybe she made herself something. Yeah, it's possible. No, but my wife is great. She's so thoughtful. Was kind of, I can't really say it, Goatee, during a live stream, but I'm more of a revolver guy. Let's put it this way. Yeah. Thank you, Mud, for the donation. 670k licenses meant at least 650,000 firearms in use. Yeah, that's what I thought. Exactly. So that's insane. That is insane. And they know how to use them. That's the thing. Yeah, don't worry, Goatee. You will go to Catania and ask for arancine. Oh, I mean, if you want to risk it, you can do it. No, yeah, I agree that. I imagine that, Mud, for sure. Thank you, Elijah, for supporting the stream. Hey, can you believe there is an American Pope now? I know. I had during this live stream, my dad called me to just tell me that. he called me and I left the mic on, and my dad was like, Papa Americano. My dad was like, oh, it's funny. So yeah, with collabs, I'm just terrible at organizing them. So, and I have so many that I have on a list right now. But no, it's not based on a subscribe number, if that's what you're asking. Like, I will be honest and tell you that, of course, I have to give priority if there is a channel that has like 5 million subs and they tell me they want to collab. Of course, that could have a massive impact on channel growth and metrics. So I will have to give it priority, but it's not a requirement. So if you have 50 subs, but you love you present a good idea, I'm more than happy to collaborate with you. It's just that I'll have to insert it within the chaotic schedule that represents the way I make my videos and run my channels. But yeah, you don't need to have a certain threshold of subscribers if that's what you were asking. Not at all. No. If you have a good idea, we can work together totally. I agree, OG. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Believe it or not, that's already 13 minutes. I mean, how quickly is it? We've been live. I've been live for exactly 3 hours and 4 minutes. And yeah, that's already 30 minutes right there. So normally I know I say that I do members only chat for 30 minutes, but then it's always like 45, like it does happen. I think today though, I'm gonna keep it to the 30 minutes, mostly because I'm starting to get a little dizzy. So I think I need to eat. I need to go make some food. But thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the stream. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and thank you for becoming channel members. And again, thank you to Twitch chat as well, and for the people becoming subscribers on Twitch. Thank you so much, guys. I'm just gonna go have to get that food. I don't know how streamers stream for 10 hours in a row, but yeah, I'll build up to it, right? So thank you, guys. I really appreciate your support. Let me do this very quickly. All right, so we can say bye to everyone. Thank you for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. As I say, usually I extend it. I let people tell me goodbye and talk a little bit. I am a little dizzy, so that's the only reason why I'm kind of cutting it quickly. Thank you. Buon appetito. Ciao, ciao. Bye. Thank you.